Hey everybody, how's it going? Hopefully that worked. It seems like it did, so I think we're good. But yeah, let's get moving here. Well met, I'm Cynycal. Welcome to my channel. This all around us here is Hunt, which is an action horror campaign set in an alternate version of what is now 2003 of our creation, inhabited by ancient horrors and legendary creatures, and we're using the Monster of the Week system. We're all a little bit new to Powered by the Apocalypse games, and we're using a pretty wide variety of the playbooks available in Monster of the Week. So if you see something you don't recognize, that's probably why. But because this is a really simple game, we kind of, I think we swung into it pretty easily. It's not a very difficult system to wrap your head around. Doesn't have a lot of, it's not very crunchy or anything. So because of this, though, being a tabletop RPG stream, we're mostly going to be focused on the game and won't always be paying attention to chat, but just know that we really appreciate you down there, and we're super happy to have everybody along. Welcome back, J5 and Lunatic. Good to see you guys. So yeah, of course, everybody's welcome. Just keep it civil down there in the chat. And let's go ahead and get into the important stuff here. Hey, there we go. So, these are my friends, and together we are CoFH RPG, a group of people that have been playing in Connected Worlds together now for decades for some of us. So let's go ahead and take a moment to introduce our players and their characters. He's been a tavern keeper who once helped slay 2 cosmic dragons, a grizzled space detective that planted a psychic tree, and a feeder of 2 hit dice ghouls. They always solve my puzzles. My longtime friend, Lord Venom 1. Go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and Jane.
Hey guys, I'm Lord Venom 1. This is usually the time when I say I'm happy to be here, but if you remember from last time, the group's in a bit of a tough spot, Jane in particular, so I'm not sure how I feel. But I play Jane Meyer, also known as Jinx. She is an initiate in terms of her playbook, which basically means she's in a cult and has to often listen to what they want her to do. And she also is a bit of a witch type character. She's got some light magical shenanigans that she can bring to the table. Yeah, looking forward to see what happens this week.
Awesome. All right. Following that, they've been a megacorp heir searching for their lost parents, a ruin-delving historian seeking to prove his father's theories, and a reluctant space captain who was an expert at crash landings. My good friend, fellow member of Screen Room, and a streamer in his own right, MagCow234. Go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and Lester.
Yeah, we do a Screen Room on Sundays and Wednesdays. Come hang out there, chill with us, watching shit. As far as Lester's concerned, he's kind of a conspiracy theorist, a little bit, nervous, a little bit paranoid. And right now, not as bad off as Jane, but pretty hurt. Tried a few things that didn't work, and just kind of not sure what to do to help against this giant beast right now.
All right, further down the line,
across the yard.
That's what happens when you try to strangle a giant minotaur with garrote, and you don't succeed on your roll. But anyway, at least you got an XP for it. Further down the line, they've played an amnesiac psychic experiment with a great haircut, a pacifistic space surgeon obsessed with an old television series, and a wild man with an upset tummy. The first character he played was somebody else as its Society Streams. Or just Society, but his channel is Society Streams. Whatever you want to do.
That's true.
I don't know. Also a fellow member of Screen Room and an independent streamer. Go ahead and talk about yourself and your character.
I don't normally look this nice. This is for Gideon, my character, who is a member of the LDS. He is new to the whole scene. My playbook is a mundane, so I'm literally just like a regular human. But I'm honestly not worried because I got the power of our Heavenly Father on my side, so throw it at me.
Still with faith. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Anyway, next up, They've played a traveling hedge wizard that sealed themselves away for almost eternity, an alien merchant engineer with an incompatible sleeping pattern, and a 3-foot tall homicidal former prisoner. One of my oldest friends and a moderator not only for this channel, but the Screen Room community in general at large, basically all the CoFH RPG stuff, all the connected things. CoFH, why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and Jaeger?
Hello, I'm Psycho. A gamer mostly. Video games, of course, but some tabletop RPG stuff in person. Would love to stream if I had a computer better than a potato. As for Jaeger, he is the group's expert. He's man, I don't even know where to begin with him. He owns a shop who the party has just sort of gathered around. It is technically his haven, which has like an armory and an infirmary, which I'm sure we'll need if we survive this.
More like a morgue,
But also a library where he can figure out what's wrong or the weaknesses of certain monsters. And probably should have spent more time there looking into this thing. But mistakes were made, and now we're all in this cornfield fighting the Minotaur. So we'll figure out how that goes.
You're in the labyrinth of the Minotaur, fighting a Minotaur. And you don't really know his weakness at all, except for a couple clues here and there. It's brutal. Anyway, finally, he's been a caravan trader who rebuilt a cultural identity by providing his home culture, that is, a new home, new homeland, I should say. A briefly lived shotgun-wielding former pirate who didn't really get to do anything, and a holy man that killed his own brother. Another old friend, Hemdall. Go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and what's going on with Michael.
Hello, I go by Hemdall, general.
The curse is still going strong. Sorry, lunatic. you might get your you might finally get your wish today, lunatic. We'll
bullets
see.
might not be hurting the Minotaur much, but he'll probably find out why I'm a monstrous.
There you go. There you go. All right.
the last
So, so with that, it's on to this week's episode of Hunt of Legend, Part 2. See you guys in just a few.
The legends are real. Most live comfortably behind the veil. For some, the veil is pierced, and the truth of this world is discovered. Usually that discovery is swiftly followed by a painful death. There are a few, though, with enough luck, wits, determination, or pain that they manage to survive. Faced with the grim truth of this world, some of those that have pierced the veil and lived have chosen to fight back, leading strange lives on the edge of darkness. Choosing to stare down the truth of this world and not flinch. This is their calling. This is the hunt.
Oh, I was muted apparently. We're back. It's time to get into things proper and actually introduce what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and give us a bit of a walk back for what's happened since we've had a little bit of a break here since we last played, even though we were kind of in the middle of a two-parter. Initially meeting our hunters back in October of 2002 as they dealt with the threat of a lycanthropy outbreak on the local university campus, eventually culminating in the truth being revealed behind the condition of one of the hunters as a type of lichen themselves. They had proven successful in their hunt, but became embroiled in several ongoing mysteries. Most recently, in the middle of November 2002, the hunters had just saved the lives of 2 Hushwood couples from a miling child spirit, put the child spirit properly to rest, and avenged the wrongful death of the child through combat with a malformed creature of darkness bred through the evils of man. They had also truly begun the process of settling in and working as a team in the town of Hushwood, uncovering its many mysteries and defending the innocents there from the horrors. After a bit of downtime was had, our intrepid monster hunters here found themselves tracking down a set of missing teenagers, dealing with a famous UFO investigator, and attempting to determine the nature of a set of strange crop circles that had appeared recently. Learning the truth of the situation, however, they found themselves within the cornbread creation of the Minotaur, a labyrinth made of living plants.
Cornbread.
Yeah, you like that? And and our hunters became the hunted. Welcome to episode 5 of Hunt of Legend Part 2. And here
Final chapter.
Perhaps so. Hopefully not. We find ourselves in the middle, however, of combat where we last left. The scene now, you guys had wandered for hours and hours in the labyrinth, eventually finding a few clues here and there about its makeup and how it operated, but only a few scant clues. And then entering into the center after firing many gunshots into the air, attempting to find one another, using sound to locate and eventually find one another. And the expert, Michael, and Jaeger here managing to roll up in time, seeing the van there. You pulled up in, I believe it was Jaeger's car. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Jaeger's vehicle?
Yeah.
So both of those vehicles, the van and Jaeger's car, parked alongside the road now, kind of a little bit worried about them. You haven't heard from them in a while. You climbed up on top of the van, looked out, and headed off into the cornfield. Eventually, by this point, gunshots fired into the air, you were able to group up. It took quite a while, but not alone, unfortunately for you. These gunshots, the maze itself, seemed to move you towards something, as though it had its own will. It would change with the will of something else, presumably the Minotaur that you, at this point, were fairly confident you were hunting or attempting to hunt here. It made its presence known in sort of the center space of this that was created here, this center circle that opened up, giant crop circle of, and I should mention again, this isn't normal corn. This corn was growing like 10 feet high. It's extra large, tons of stalks on it, and it would even fill back in and stuff as it was laid down. You did see that there were a couple times when, in the middle of this fight that broke out in this strange arena-like shape, there are a few times where the fire blown by the Minotaur would burn some of the corn, and it wouldn't like heal back from that or anything. But when it was laid down, it could come back up. It could even regrow a little bit, and it sort of could shape the it can make whatever shape it needs to, basically, and seems to do so at will. As at one point in the middle of this fight, this treacherous fight with this huge minotaur who's charging you and goring you left and right, we had Lester jumping on his back trying to strangle him, unable to do so, getting thrown backwards. Jane being just brutally gored, essentially, and thrown across a huge area of space, blood flying everywhere at this point. I don't think any of you really took any damage from the fire too much at that point, but you're all hurt. But you do see, in the middle of all this chaos, another human make their way out of the corn with a shotgun pointed towards you. The father, you thought, of the large man who you suspected might be the Minotaur after a bit of time there. But then when he opens his mouth, he says to leave his father alone, realizing that this is the son of the Minotaur, and through the words of the Minotaur, that he is not a Minotaur, he is the Minotaur. 1,200 years old, from his own counting at least. What he said, anyway. Maybe more. Probably more, but we don't know. All of this plays out in a few seconds of time, really, but some of it seems like an eternity for those of you that are on the brink of death. And that is where we will pick up, in the middle of this intense situation. But before we jump into the actual mechanics of everything, there are two things that I want to point out mechanically above the game for just a moment. One, Jinx, Jaeger, and Lester, all three have boons of faith that people have at some point asked for. Not this session. Nobody's done that yet. But those are the ones left over from before. Two, each of you now has a specific goal handout that should be visible in your journal based off of things that you have done so far in the game or said. It is essentially like a little quest specifically made for each of you that has a specific reward. You don't have to say what that quest is. In fact, maybe don't. Just keep it to yourself, but try to accomplish it and let me know when you think you have, and we can talk about it. That is in the handouts section in the Roll20 tabletop. So those two above the game kind of things taken care of now. I'm looking at my little chart thing here to see whose turn it is going to be, so you know. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you guys just a minute out of character to talk about what's happening, but just so you can make any plans you want to out of character for just the briefest time, but then I'm going to kick it right into gear, so be ready to hit the ground running.
Jesus. Save me.
Right.
Save you. No, you save me.
Now's your time. I'm giving you just a few minutes to discuss it. And then I'm kicking in straight into turn again.
He had tossed me, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, so you were currently... You're not on the ground. You had stood up and everything, but you were
Yeah.
knocked down in a way.
All right. And who's he pointing the shotgun at?
You're not at close range. The guy that busts out, the son that you now know with the shotgun, he is essentially on the other side of the Minotaur from where your current position is. He says, "Leave my father alone," pulls his shotgun up, and is pointing at the last person that was attacking the Minotaur, which I believe, according to this, scrolling through my chat here, I believe was Jinx.
It doesn't sound right. Jinx, as I recall, Jinx is laying on the ground
Where's the fire?
and has no
Not
intention of
much
getting
happened
up.
to it.
That's true, you did get knocked on the ground. Who had the last successful kick some ass? Well, you did. You had the last successful kick some ass.
Wasn't me, that's for sure.
I'm sure it was the Minotaur.
No, it's Jinx.
Ah, true. Yeah,
Place
the
was
Minotaur.
good at the Minotaur.
Is
Leave
fucked
my
right
Don't
dad
do that.
alone,
That's not a thing.
Dad.
We found its
But
weakness.
maybe I hit the Minotaur and the Minotaur hit me
son.
back.
Yes, you still took damage from it or whatever, but you
Yeah.
you hurt him. So yeah, you're the one that the shotgun is pointed at. What do you
Where's the
guys-
fire?
Where is the fire? It comes out the nose of the Minotaur.
Oh, there's not like corn on fire?
No. We've only seen some of the corn. All I said was like when he shot fire down on you, so the corn's laid down, right? So that's like a floor of corn. Like you have seen the corn stand back up and stuff,
Corn
right?
floor.
Like after being laid down. But the corn that is burned in these spots that he's like, you know, doused in fire, that can't get back up because it's just fucking, it's burnt corn, it's ash. It's not, like,
Alright.
it's not, a living plant that can.
Yeah. I thought there was like a fire
wanna-
raging around.
Quick,
Jump
set
on
this whole
the-
field on fire.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sign,
Do
hold
what?
him hostage.
I mean, if someone wants to rush and try to dodge a bullet real quick. But
I mean, I think we gotta. I don't know.
you think
I
it's too late to talk? Do you think it's too late
Yeah,
to
I think
talk?
we gotta talk our way out of this. I don't know.
I'll try and
That's what I'm
talk.
saying. Like, if he's a hostage.
I mean, we tried to talk
Maybe a
already, and he
bargaining
basically
chip there.
fucked off. But we can try to talk to the sun.
What is this
I
whole?
mean-
What's the whole angle here? Is this maze a prison for the Minotaur?
We don't know. I mean, mythologically speaking, yes, but it seems like this maze is his bitch right now.
So who?
Yeah, it's
so
like
like
his
who's
lair.
going now? Can I throw a throwing knife?
So I'm giving, nobody's going right now. I am giving you a moment to talk out of character about what you
Can I stop him
to
from throwing
come
his
up with a
throwing
plan.
knife?
The moment we go into it, I'm gonna set the scene and you'll know who's going.
Can I
If you
go
don't
back
know-
to the van and get Jinx's
Nothing.
armor?
Yeah, please. Actually, I'll go, and I'll be right back. Definitely.
Okay, that's
I'll
enough
be
time
right
for
back.
out of character discussion. So
Ah, damn it.
anyway, the shotgun pointed at Jinx. He screams, "Leave my father alone!"
Leave him
The-
alone. Get
the
him under
Minotaur-
control.
The Minotaur puts his hand out like this and just turns back for a brief moment and says, I can do this voice actually.
No! Get back! You look not to be here or see this. You know the way.
And he doesn't fire, but kind of just like lowers the gun in confusion for a minute and starts to step back. Jinx, you're kind of holding your side here, blood coming out of like, you can't see what's going on down there because your clothes are stuck to your skin now, drenched with blood. But you're having to keep your hand there, you can tell, because anytime you don't, you begin bleeding profusely. You are very close to death. And you know that. This is not like a D&D, like, oh, I'm almost out of hit points, I can get healed. This is like, you are bleeding through and worried about like your intestines pouring out of your stomach, so you're holding them in that kind of situation at this moment.
Hey, listen, we can all talk about this. We can all talk about this. We're just looking for some missing kids. I'm just gonna start screaming.
Just screaming. Okay.
Your father attacked us.
Are you talking to the sun?
Yeah. If he's like coming at me and trying to
But he lowered his gun.
tell me to
Minotaur
leave his
told him.
father alone, quote unquote.
Nobody wants to hurt anybody here. We're just looking for some kids.
Alright, so you just see him like lower the gun down for a moment and start to like and kind of like walk back into the corn as the Minotaur turns his head back towards you, Gideon. Lowers his head down and kind of take both of his huge arms and dig
Oh, he
them
wants a hug?
into the ground.
Oh.
So he suddenly more resembles a bull than he has when he was standing upright,
Oh.
though enormous, and he begins to charge towards you. What do you do?
Throw the book at him.
Yeah, I'm holding my book out in front of me right now. But I'm gonna Shit. I don't think he's listening. I don't think he's listening to me right now.
He's not listening.
So I guess.
I mean, you guys had
This
your
isn't-
conversation with him before. He did say some stuff, but I don't want to go back into that from last session. What were you saying?
I don't know if this is a situation that I can just like. Do I have to be like? Do I have to use one of my moves to avoid his charge right now, or is it just like rolling out of the way? Is that enough?
So I set up a soft move. I told you what he is doing. I'm making a soft move because you're not in a situation where I can just make hard moves towards you. I have to first set them up, right?
Yeah.
So the soft move is he is preparing to do a charge against you. And then I'm looking at you and saying, hey, what do you do? So you can do different things to try to either avoid that charge, or maybe you hurt him or something. It's all in your moveset. What you do is, I don't know. It's up to you, right? We play to find out. Ow. But, yeah. So if you wanted to try and like if you were a big burly fighter guy with a big sword in this situation, just to simplify it, right? And some mythical creature is charging you, you could be like, I'm gonna kick some ass, right? You wouldn't say that, but you would be like, I'm gonna take my sword, and as he charges towards me, I'm gonna try to step to the side and slash at him, and or just like drive my sword down his throat or something like that, and that would be a kick some ass roll. And
Do you think I can like attempt to get his son in between us?
So the situation is like this. We don't have a map for this kind of a fight, but just to use my piece of paper here so you can to illustrate, like kind of like a playbook situation. The big circle. I'm gonna draw a thing.
I think that if I can endanger his son, he might, relent.
So this is basically the situation. He is the square, if you can see that.
Okay.
He's the square, the sun is the circle, right? He's going back into the corn from behind him. And you guys are all the exits.
Okay. And he's coming at me. Fucking A, dude. I guess I got a panic button in it. I guess I gotta. I don't have
to say that all night.
I knew I was gonna have to use it. I just didn't think it was gonna be the first thing I had to use. I mean,
And that's a good reason to panic.
Yeah, he's coming at me. This thing's huge. I'm like a fragile human being.
What do you got? Cream pie to the
You
face?
got hit by him once before and it hurt really bad, so
It did. I tried to like catch him. I tried to like catch his horns last time. It didn't work out. So I'm definitely gonna panic button this time, and I'm gonna. It says when you need an escape, name the route. I'll try. So I'm gonna try and just like
So what's the full? I need to see the full thing so we can.
Okay.
The sun knows the way out, so in theory you could follow the sun or something.
How do I share that to you?
You could read it to me, or I can look at the thing maybe.
So name the route. I'll try and roll plus sharp.
No, read the whole ability.
What? I am.
The panic button, entire ability, like all the wording.
Panic button. When you need to escape, name the route you'll try, and roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus, you're out of danger. No problem.
Okay.
On a 7 to... Should I keep going?
No. I just wanted to make sure, like, there's very specific wording for that first part. Anyway, so it's kind of like a weird D&D thing. Like, the way that these are worded is, like, very specific. So, yeah, go ahead and roll sharp.
Okay. Yeah, I guess...
Failure.
Oh, okay.
You earn
I
1
wasn't sure if I was
XP.
rolling it right. Yay!
You did it
Hooray!
right.
Shit.
All right, well, you earn 1 XP.
I'm gonna try and dive out of his way when he's coming at me.
Sorry, I gotta scroll down to where his stat block is.
Oh yeah, it says something about...
What?
I'm reading the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
On a miss, you are caught halfway out.
Oh, okay, so what is it? What happens on a miss?
On a miss, you are caught halfway out, it says.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that just means like you go to like, oh, get out of the way real quick. Like you
And it
move
just
with
fails. Yeah.
almost like a surprising alacrity. Like you know, adrenaline kicks in. Gideon is moving very temporarily, not like an athlete, but it kind of speeds like an athlete might move. Your movement is sporadic and kind of chaotic as you're just in panic mode, literally. An animal trying to get away from a greater predator. It's very primal. And as you do, you just almost make it. And both of those horns don't hit, but one of them does, and it's just enough.
Gee,
You take
Louise.
3 harm.
Oh, that's
and
not
are-
good.
You take 3 harm and are thrown back 10 feet.
More and I'm dying.
Okay. So then as you slam to the ground, blood kind of squirting up out of your wound, holding on to it, the Minotaur lets loose this kind of almost steam engine-like bellow. As you can see the steam starting to roar more and more out of his nostrils. He turns back towards all of you, lets out this huge roar and flame to shoot straight up into the air as he then stands at his full height and lowers his gaze at the rest of you and begins to charge at Jane, who is down.
I'm gonna grab my wounds
What do
and
you-
say, yeah, don't try and talk to him, just shoot him! Shoot him!
What do you do, Michael? You're up.
I'm gonna point my gun at the sun. Be
Okay.
Like, you're not going anywhere.
Did someone just say don't kill the
Yeah. Tell him it's a game and it's necessary.
Either me or him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so you're gonna point your revolver?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that while moving around towards him.
I'm gonna
Alright,
ready
so-
my rifle too.
What exactly do you say first? As you're leveling this gun, pointed at him.
Well, you're here now. You're staying.
Okay. Let's
Nice.
see.
You're helping us end this.
Very, very Walking Dead. I like it.
What would that be?
Manipulate someone potentially.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be manipulate somebody.
Protecting us.
That's more like physical.
Yeah, it's a physical move. I can see an argument around it, but yeah, I think this is a manipulate somebody roll.
Save the goddamn party. Is that a move? prevent the total party wipe.
Oh my god, you get an experience.
Oh yes.
Not my strong suit.
Okay. So as you say this, the Minotaur whirls around on you, Michael, at kind of putting its body in between the line of fire for the revolver and his son that is now backing into the corn, and instead of letting loose this flame at Jinx, does so at you.
Love that. Can we
Yeah,
argue
so-
that it should be cool as a stat over charm?
Well, charm is supposed to be the like. I can see what you're saying though in that with especially that particular
That
situation.
would move it to a mixed success.
Okay.
Right, like he's not trying to like sweet talk him here. He's
Yeah, no, I see what
trying
you're
to,
saying. I don't disagree with that. What
like,
is
be
so? What is a
under
mixed
pressure.
success on that? Let's see.
They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now.
Yeah,
If
he
you
can
ask
mow his
too much,
lawn.
they'll
I'll
tell
mow
you
his
what.
lawn all next week.
You're saying this to the sun.
I'll harvest your corn.
Well, he's really manipulating the Minotaur. Right. I mean, kind of
Okay.
both of them,
I'll tell you. This is gonna be is a little bit of an interpretation of it, but I'll tell you what. So, as you point the revolver at his son, the Minotaur looks, because you're trying to manipulate the Minotaur through the sun, essentially. The Minotaur looks to which, I was sort of off the wrong thing. The Minotaur looks back and forth for the few seconds between you and his son. Then he kind of, instead of going into that breath of fire on Jinx or even on you, turns towards his son and goes into a headlong sprint, like a charge, straight at him, kind of grabbing him and dipping into the corn for a brief moment.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and so you're not trying to get him to tell you something or anything like that. What you want him to do is leave Jane alone. So yeah, so he's not going to attack Jane or you this turn. Basically, he's going to completely go into his like stalker mode that he did before. And as he grabs his son, you'll see some of the corn start to shoot up around to kind of close the space off more, and except for those patches where it's been burned. And then you hear the rustle through the corn as he grabs his son and is moving along the kind of the perimeter, and you hear his voice.
Marvelous will not have this.
All right,
Will not have this?
Pavlos. So he's speaking about himself in the third person, basically.
I thought he was talking about somebody else.
Um,
But he answers to somebody?
and then that is essentially the end of that particular round through. So Michael, you don't take any damage or anything, but you don't get an XP because it was a mixed success. Keep that in mind. But Jane, you are not attacked, and neither are you, Michael. The corn rustling, you hear the voices in the distance. Just kind of like pause where it's just quiet for a moment. The corn on this side rustles, and on this side, and then some of it starts to lower, creating a path ahead of you, and you hear noises in that direction, expecting it to charge out of the corn towards you. Then it doesn't. There's a moment where you're like, what? Then you hear the noises behind you as it charges straight in, directly towards. Let's see, who would that be next on his target list? Directly towards you, Lester. And they come behind, looking straight at you. He's in a charge mode now, so he's not doing his fire thing. But he's charging straight towards you in an attempt to get you. However, Jaeger, you are positioned such that you might be able to do something about it. What do you do? It's Jaeger's turn, but Lester is being attacked.
Can I see the Minotaur?
Yes, he's like charging out of the corn now, like straight from behind, basically. You heard noises like where that path opened up in the corn a little bit, but for a second you were like, huh, is he coming from that way? But he didn't. Instead he came from behind. And there's still noises over there, but you don't know what they're doing.
Well, I got a shotgun for a reason, so I'm just gonna blast the Minotaur in the face.
Sounds like you're trying to kick some
Please
ass.
do that. Kick that fucking thing's ass with your bullets.
So basically you guys are like right next to each other. You're pulling the shotgun up in an attempt to get it positioned perfectly at this Minotaur as he charges straight in onto Lester, the barrel of the shotgun, mere feet away, just a few feet away from him as you try to fire on him. Go ahead and make your roll. Oh, fuck, guys. You're gonna die. You're rolling really bad.
What in the
Good
fuck?
hunt campaign, guys.
That's holy shit. Alright, you earn 1 XP as you fire the shotgun off. It's a failure. That doesn't mean you lose the gun or anything like that, but you don't shoot Lester by accident, but you do fire this gun, and the speed of this guy is just so much greater than you were expecting for something of this size that you just basically shot behind him, missing him by feet. It's loud. The gunshot basically goes like over the head of Jane as she's laying there still on the ground. You don't hit her or anything like that, but blast the corn on the other side of the little arena-like structure you're currently held within. But to no avail as he charges in. It makes contact with you, Lester, for 3 harm.
Does anyone have an ability to set the corn on fire?
No.
Alright, so Lester, you are knocked back about 10 feet onto your ass as you take a horn to the gut. Doesn't completely pierce all of your organs or anything super vital, but you're definitely getting hurt now. What's your current harm at?
1 of 7?
Okay, so you're starting to get hurt.
Wait, no.
Well,
remaining,
wait,
I'm
no.
assuming.
Yeah, which way do you mean? My sheet says 1 of 7, which means remaining.
Yes.
But I guess it depends on
Okay,
how you
okay.
1 point from death.
I'm asking how
like
much
Jane-
harm you
like
had
Jane.
had applied to you, but yes.
6.
All right,
6.
thank you.
6 and unstable.
Out of 7.
Okay, so keep in mind all
So-
of these
so how
injuries
does that
are
work?
unstable. So they get worse over time.
It doesn't work well.
Okay,
You can bleed out and die, basically.
I'll explain it for your next character. I won't worry about it.
that's fine. I don't believe.
Okay, sorry, no. After you fly back, Lester, the Minotaur lets out this bellowing laugh. Looks towards the rest of your group, holds his hands out wide. Looks to his right where that path is opened up. And snorts a bit. And ducks back into the corn, going back into his stalker mode for giving you a brief reprieve as you can hear movement in the distance. Multiple things moving through the cornfield. What do you guys do?
Is it crazy?
Yes.
Guys, do you think it's crazy if I try and like... So I have a headlamp and some hand sanitizer in my kit. And like, if I like break the bulb of the headlamp and like douse a bunch of the dry corn and some hand sanitizer and then like turn the headlamp on and ignite this shit, you think I could like set a fire? Think it's like a waste of an effort? Because I could just shoot him too. I have a rifle.
Up to you, man. If you want to try lighting a fire, light a
How much
fire.
of the corn is dead around me? Is it mostly alive?
When you pitch this to the game master, I would sound real confident. Like obviously this whole field would erupt from flames.
I mean, the corn is the corn is mostly alive. It's just a few
Is there
spots
dead corn
where
around me?
where he's-
Like
I
dried
mean,
up?
there's like spots where he hit with the fire that is like burnt up, brown.
I'm just gonna shoot this guy.
He's not there at the moment.
I'm
Oh, he's
going
not?
to
Shit.
walk
He's
to
in the corn somewhere.
I'm gonna walk to the center of the corn ring we're in, kind of toss my gun aside, shift into my werewolf form, and just howl out a challenge.
Interesting.
Love that.
Interesting. Okay, well,
I'm gonna try and set some
I'm gonna use 2 GM moves, or whatever they're called, here.
I want to read bad situation.
Okay, so go ahead and roll the read a bad situation.
Yeah. I already have one.
I'm gonna make you
I don't
do
remember
something.
what it was from. So I can ask one question.
Okay.
What's my
So
best way out?
So all of this is happening, right, at the same time. I'll try and answer these. All of these things are happening at the same time. You hear this rustling out in the corn. You're not sure, like, if it's one source or if it's just him or what it is at all. And then you hear a familiar voice scream out. It's only really familiar to one of you, Lester. The voice of Paddington Reynolds, who screams out,
Half of that was cut out.
Yeah, that got cut. That got
well,
filtered.
that's literally what happened. So
What?
the voice got cut. He screamed
But
out,
it's like super muffled.
he screamed
We
out,
didn't
"What the
hear-
fuck?" And he didn't cut off.
Okay, we didn't even hear that. It just got like clip. It was weird. It must have got
Sure. RTX.
NVIDIA'd.
So yeah, he screamed out, "What the fuck?" The voice of Paddington Reynolds in the distance, and then it cuts short, and there's a scream of pain for a moment.
Oh, that guy's gone. Rip. Pins for
So
Paddington
that's
Bear.
my announced off-screen badness move, because we ticked down a notch on the clock.
That's my favorite move, if I'm being honest.
It's a pretty good one.
Because it doesn't hurt us.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, you hear the bellowing laugh from the distance as that goes on. Right at this time, Michael shifts into his full form, the cracking of bone and ripping of some of his clothes, but they mostly stay on him because he wears really baggy clothes. Is like pretty much the only sound that accompanies that, and then this silence sets in over the cornfield, and there's just this bellowing, deep howl, challenging the Minotaur, so to speak, here in this situation, challenging the other beast.
Who's also
And-
wearing clothes, we found out.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then at the same time, Jane, you're kind of skittering around, looking back and forth. We moved down one tick. You have 1 HP left on your thing, 1 harm. Your wounds are extremely hurt right now. You're really bad shape. I need you to roll a plus tough. Okay, you take 1 harm as
Jesus.
you begin to bleed out.
I would say, well, that would obviously kill me.
Yeah, that will kill you. Unless you use luck or something.
So I would say that by some television miracle, this grievous wound is not lethal, and I spend a luck to avoid.
So okay,
all
hold on. So
harm
you're
from
so
the
you're
injury.
spending a luck to avoid harm.
Yeah.
Quick question:
Yup.
do you still have the finger on you, or did you leave it in the van?
I have it on me.
Okay.
I forgot about this finger, but
You feel an odd sensation as you look down into the little pouch that you had put the small vial with the dust in there, and the finger twitching around. And you hear this voice in your head. It says, "Release me." You suddenly get this, not a vision, but like a memory of, but maybe not your memory. It's hard to say. It blends in with your time spent in the circle. All these spell rituals you learned, your time in practice, poring over tomes. It's very familiar, but you don't remember doing this. But you're having the memories of this particular spell, this particular curse. You see the item once more, the shriveled finger in this little glass vial, twitching violently now within its space. The glass almost on the brink of shattering, cracking in a few spots as it does so. And you're suddenly met with the realization that this finger belongs to a hand of glory. Something that you have studied about. A particularly cursed artifact that can be created through unspeakable acts of evil and is often used by very powerful magic users throughout history. It was said that Hitler even had access to one, and then that was one of the reasons World War II went so favorably in the beginning for the Nazi Party amongst the circle. But that's somewhat of a legend. Nobody knows if that's really true. But there are multiple figures throughout history that their conquering has been attributed to the hand of glory. This finger, of course, not being the full hand, seems to seek out release, which would technically be against your call to the circle. In order to complete the ritual, you will need to in order to release it, you would have to do a use magic roll and bury the finger in dirt, in like living soil. If you do that, it is considered a betrayal of the circle. It also has the effect of whenever you spend, essentially the item, the way it works is whenever you spend a luck to avoid harm, it triggers this set of events that you could deal with one way or not. You have one opportunity to do it. Sure. So you either do the ritual, bury it, do the use magic. You avoid taking the luck if you do that. It gives you the luck spend for free. So you avoid all harm without any having to spend your luck. You also remove 2 harm from yourself. But this is your one opportunity to use it, and it is a betrayal of the circle. It will have circle. It will have consequences.
What a question! Oh my god, dude.
And is this
It seems like a no-brainer.
Whenever you spend luck,
that's why I made that item, because I knew it was going to be an interesting thing at some point.
So luck in this game,
That's
basically
crazy.
you have every character has 7 luck. You can spend one to change any roll to a 12, or to avoid all harm from an injury.
Correct.
Whenever you mark luck, each playbook has a thing that is called a luck special that goes off, and in this case it says when you spend luck, something goes wrong for your sect, an ill-advised project or a disastrous operation. I don't really know what that means.
So all of that stuff
but
will
is
still
this
be
what-
true. That will still happen.
that will also happen. Okay.
But you will not have the luck spent on your sheet.
Yeah.
the,
Right. Okay. So, sure, I will do it. I will.
Oh
inspiration,
shit, really?
Just jam my fingers into the dirt. Claw
You're saying
open
fuck
a
the
hole.
order?
All right,
Fuck the circle.
I need you to make a use magic roll. You really don't want to fail this roll.
You're
You
gonna
like
do it, man?
super do not want to fail this roll. I would advise you to, maybe if you're going to, spend that boon.
What's the boon?
The boon just would replace your lowest roll in the die.
Yeah, I'll boon.
So if you so just do your normal roll, and then you can roll a regular d6, and then we'll just replace the lowest roll. Shit. Well, I guess when you roll that high, Okay, so your first number is the
I got
highest.
thrust +3 weird. I ain't no joke. I'm not some magician's assistant.
Okay, so you spend your boon. You are filled with kind of a unexpected feeling of warmth for a moment. You're not sure if it's this like, if it's something magical or if it's just this sort of euphoria setting in from blood loss. You're kind of getting really lightheaded and stuff. You begin to go through this ritual that is like remembered and not remembered at the same time. It's very similar to a lot of the other magic that you're accustomed to. It's a very simple spell. It involves you digging up some of this loose dirt, and as you take the finger and begin to like uncork it, placing it down in the dirt, it just shatters in your hand and falls into the hole there, along with some of your blood, the dirt that you replace, and you eat some of the blood-drenched dirt, swallowing it down, channeling your thoughts deeply. And there's this sort of black circle that starts to extend from this little spot that you buried. As it hits pieces of the corn, it starts to fall dead all around you. You hear a bellowing. And then, charging into the middle of the circle, we see the Minotaur now, who first sets his eyes on Michael. There's this snort, sort of a bellowing challenge in kind of roar at you. He looks around at this spreading circle of black that you're all now starting to take notice, spreading out around Jane, onto Jane's very skin for a moment. Jane, I believe you just completed your secret goal thing, actually, by betraying the circle, technically. So,
Shit.
shit! You get those.
You thought I was losing, and I was actually winning.
You get that reward in
yeah, we'll
there.
see.
The second of those rewards is called the Ancient Suffering. You may spend a luck point on your turn in a combat situation to use magic as a combat action, like as a kick some ass roll, like a spell slinger does. But you have to spend a luck point in order to do that. And that's basically, you can do that permanently from this point on. And you're sort of filled with this black tendrils that start to cover your body and your wound.
Oh, Miss Meyer!
And then they fade down, and your wound is a little less grievous than before, but you're still pretty hurt. But the black doesn't stop there. It spreads out throughout this cornfield, and the corn just starts falling dead all around. But you see the little blades of grass in between the corn, the little bits there that had managed to grow up in between. Oddly, as this place is sort of like this sort of summer type zone that's like maintaining this temperature and everything, that kind of strangely out of season, it starts to get cold. Little bits of grass start to die. The sky itself changes. You see the stars no longer have this strange hue to them that they had before. That swirling cloud from above stops. There's a brief moment where you look off to the side and you see, just in a single flash of light, standing above the dying corn, this enormously slender and tall figure wearing a hat. 8 shadow-like tentacles stretch from his back, just sitting there watching. No, only she does. And then, just as quickly as you noticed him, he's gone. You feel better, but you also somehow feel weary, tired, kind of a tiredness you've never felt before. And more than that, an anger that you've never felt before. But you are not dead. Michael, as the Minotaur looks down at this, looks at you.
I don't know what you have done, Forest Lord, but you will pay for this as our mother once did.
He breathes in this huge breath and begins quickly, like not on all fours, but on bipedal position, charging towards you, preparing to unleash this huge plume of flame. What do you do, Michael?
I'm charging on all fours right at him. I'm going to
Okay, so you guys are gonna meet head on.
do
then.
like a leaping jump up towards his neck, trying to bite it.
Okay, I need you to do a kick some ass roll. You notice the corn now in the circle starting to die as this black spreads, and as it hits the wall of the living corn that stands high, some of it even begins to shrivel, though slowly.
Oh man. Nice.
Did you do the roll? Oh, there it was. I just had to scroll down. That is a success. Okay. On a 10 plus, you get to choose an extra effect. So you can gain the advantage. That's take one forward or give +1 forward to another hunter if you want. You can inflict terrible harm, which is +1 harm to the total. You can suffer less harm because you are going to get hurt from this. Or you can force them to move where you want them, or something like that. I would say, like, because he's breathing the fire, you could, like, redirect the fire or something like that.
He's not gonna like this Forest Lord's bite, because I'm making it worse.
Okay, so you're gonna inflict terrible harm, adding +1 harm.
Yes.
What's the total?
5.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
As I'm charging, everyone would notice that his Michael's claws almost reshape into like a dark black, and his teeth extend almost out past his mouth as they seemingly enhance themselves.
Okay. He goes to breathe this flame on you. You catch him kind of unexpectedly early in this move, and you both go down in a heap as you bite into his neck, slamming him down to the ground. You go into a roll. The fire is breathed out. You are hit by the fire for 3 damage, 3 harm. But he is also harmed quite a bit. You manage to sink your teeth into this thick hide, and you realize that he's got this thick hide, so it's called. He's armored naturally, but
It's extra thick.
You realize that you are definitely making a harm there, and are making some harm happen there. And as you rip loose this flesh, you can see now he's having a much harder time healing back now that the corn is starting to recede from where he's at. With that, you roll back, kind of separating from one another slightly, spitting the flesh to the side, or maybe you eat it. I don't know.
I'll eat it.
Oh,
It tastes like raw beef.
okay.
All right, know what we're doing after this kill. Barbecue.
Oh, great. Or for a week.
Yeah. You want to age that first, probably, but we'll get into that later.
I like it fresh.
So
Well, it seems pretty aged
kind of
already.
sliding back,
He's old already.
looking around the area, kind of like confused, and this look of worry creeps into his eyes as he looks at the black spreading throughout the corn, and he begins to move off into the corn in the same direction you saw his son move. And you hear him yell out the name of his son.
Nigos, come. I need you.
Can I hold him there?
So that's what I say. He's beginning to move out of the circle. He's trying to move into the corn and like maybe heal himself or something. You just went, but he's trying to head out there. Jaeger, do you want to try and do something? You just went, so you're like scattered back at this point, kind of sliding from him, like throwing you off of himself at the moment. Jaeger, you're able to like you have an opportunity to get in between the two of you if you want to try and stop him from moving into the corn. He's not attacking you at the moment. He's trying to run kind of off. The corn isn't shooting up around him because of the black. He can't do that anymore.
I'm yelling to Gideon, burn the corn. And I'm going to run over to Lester and grab him up and tell everybody we need to retreat. Except maybe
Okay.
Michael.
Now is
I'll
the
start
hour,
dumping
the hour of our greatest glory.
I'll start dumping the contents of my hand sanitizer onto the driest corn I can find, driest patch of corn I can find.
Okay. Some of it that was on fire a little bit ago is dry.
Nice. I'll do that, and then I'll take out my headlamp, unscrew the top part so that the glass lens comes off, and I'm gonna smash the light bulb. I'm gonna stick it into the
Okay.
goop. and I'm
Well,
just
to be
gonna
clear, it's
turn it on.
Jaeger's turn. So he told
Okay.
you to do this. You can do that on your turn.
Gotcha.
Whenever
it's my turn, I do that.
But Jaeger, if you want to like allow that to happen on your turn, I guess we can try and do like a you can forego doing any moves to just let Gideon try and do the roll to do that if you want. But
Well,
then
I wanted to help Lester because
Yeah, do that.
Okay,
he's
so
close to
then you need to do a protection roll, or what are you trying to do?
just
First
get him
aid.
up and out. Is there a
Okay. So you can do first aid if you
medical
want, or you can
something?
if you have the ability. There's moves.
Lester.
I have a move, but it looks like it's for me only. I don't know if I can use it on somebody
Sure.
else.
I mean, you can use the regular help out roll if you want to try and help him out, so that on his turn, he has a better chance of not bleeding to death.
Sure, I'll try to help out Lester.
Okay, so roll cool. If you roll
Can
poorly,
I
you
spend
make it
my
harder.
boon on this?
Yeah, you can spend a boon on any of these rolls.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah, because if you roll bad, you make it worse for him. To be clear, that is how it works. Oh baby! Oh my god, dude! All right, so that's still a fail, even with the.
Yeah,
with the
so
boon.
that help.
So that is high grade for you, man.
Oh man.
Got experience though, so can't beat that.
So does that,
We are
That
getting
costs me
some
like 3
experience this
levels.
fight.
5, 6. Yeah, it's a 6 total. Which is not enough to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't. It looks like I don't hurt him, but I expose myself to danger.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Lester, your turn is up next, basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that. But because of what just played out there is this moment where you hear a scream off in the distance that the Minotaur ran. No! No! What are you doing now? Just silence. And then charging out of charging out of the corn from the direction you heard the sound. Let's scroll back down to here.
That Paddington.
Running past you with a renewed vigor and looking a little bit more healthy than he was before. Do
Was that
that.
its son?
Yeah. Pavos charges by Jaeger and just takes this huge bite out of him as he grabs you by the shoulder in his maw and twists you left and right like a dog with a rag toy and throws you to the side, kind of standing there behind. So Lester, you're a little ways away because he bites into him and grabs him, kind of takes a few steps, swings him back and forth and flings him. But so you would be behind the Minotaur from this perspective, kind of off to his side like this. If that makes sense. And Psycho, your character Jaeger, would have been thrown this way. So you've been like diagonally thrown kind of apart from each other, given the circumstance there. And you take 2 harm from the bite, Jaeger. And that's the
must-
exposed
must spend a
streak
luck.
to harm.
I'm gonna spend a luck to avoid that.
Okay. So you spend a luck to avoid all harm. So because you spend a luck to avoid all harm, you are bit into, and he goes to throw you, and he still kind of does, but you manage to, with a very surprising amount of kind of dexterity, even to yourself, flip up over onto his back and kind of break yourself free from the bite. There's still blood on your shoulder where he bit you and everything, but it's not enough to actually write down harm. Your clothing, your nicely tailored shirt and everything ripped, covered in blood and viscera and slight burns from the heat coming out of the nostrils of this thing. But you manage to kind of definitely walk and go, oh god, like you're gonna fall off of him for a moment. And just luckily as you fall, you land right on your feet, right back where you were. He's like confused, stumbling, like whatever just happened. But you take no harm. And Lester, you're seeing all this happen in front of you. The Minotaur turns his attention now back towards... I gotta do the roll. Now back towards Jinx.
Get out of here.
It's just random, baby. Uh-oh, what's happening? Why is GOG Galaxy launching all of a sudden?
Ain't time to play games, Minotaur.
Oh,
Lord.
super robostatic.
So the Minotaur was in the courtroom screaming, like,
Okay.
No,
harm.
Minotaur regened because he ate his son.
Okay.
Sucked his son's life force.
Or
That's some
what
old
was
school
left of
Greek
the-
ass shit right there.
Yeah, mythologically, they're cannibals.
Yeah, he heals when he eats people. He also gets energy to heal back slowly from the labyrinth, but he's increasingly not able to get that energy because of how the labyrinth is taking damage, is what it looks like. Okay. So seeing all of this take place, the Minotaur turning his attention now back towards Jinx, who is standing up, kind of holding your side and noticing that you don't really have to anymore. There's sort of a look of confusion on your face. There's this still, as our camera moves in on Jane's face, her eyes are just very briefly solid black, and then they've flipped back
I was thinking the same
to
thing.
normalcy. You feel, like I said, a strange anger, Jane, but not one that you are familiar with. This Minotaur is charging towards you at the moment, or looking like he is preparing to do so. Keep that in mind. But Lester, it's your turn. What do you do?
What's your health at, Lester? Your harm.
I got one.
One left.
Money.
Yep. I'm kicking it right now.
Sorry to interrupt.
He's fine.
Psycho, what is your luck special?
Oh
Curiosity.
yeah, you spent luck.
Oh,
That's true.
Well, my luck special is I discover something happening now is related to something you were involved in years ago.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
That's neat.
The Minotaur's clothes he bought from your store.
Yeah, I recognize those pants.
Yeah, you had to let him out like so much.
I know those seams anywhere.
They're old college buddies.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, like, because you get that right away. What the Minotaur said earlier, when he was yelling at Michael, called him a forest lord, and mentioned that they are of the same mother. It brings you back to something you remember from years ago, a story that your grandfather told you of the old days, the birth of the hunters. In that era, there was a legend going around that a lot of these creatures had been born in ancient times from the figurative wound of one particular monster, if you will. Echidna. And that's all you get.
Grandfather was a weird dude. All right, sorry. Back to Lester.
Well,
But Lester, what you doing, bud?
I guess. Okay, well, Jaeger was over here by me.
Yeah, Jaeger is near you.
About to. I'm about to try to.
Oh wait, it is your turn.
Get
I'm
out.
sorry. I need you to roll a plus tough.
Okay.
You're unstable, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I need you to roll plus tough.
You're gonna want to roll well in spite of losing out on experience. Trust me. Though you might become a wizard, so maybe it's worth it.
You don't. He doesn't have a magic luck finger on.
You
him.
might become a wizard.
You find
Oh, well,
probably
another
not.
figure squirming around.
Apparently,
in your
the
bag.
chances are low.
Oh, jeez. Maybe I should use my boon.
So the ability that I gave you, you have to spend a luck to use it each time. Keep that in mind. Jinx.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast a spell that gives me 2 luck points.
It's not gonna work out. I promise.
It was a middle finger.
I'm gonna use my boon. So I would roll the
Okay, so
top
you're
and then
using
a
your boon.
d6.
So
Is that
first
what
you
it
do your
is?
roll, and then you would roll another d6 after the roll, and you would replace the lowest of the rolls from the first one.
Oh,
Okay. So you rolled a. What did you roll? A 2 and a 4. So. Okay, so you replace the 2 with a 5, so that's a 9.
okay.
Okay. So that's a 7 and 9. So you do not this turn take any ongoing harm.
All right.
It's a good thing you spent that boon, because I think you would have had to spend
So
luck
I'm
if
not
you hadn't.
dead. I'm
Did I move
going
it properly?
to.
Yeah, there we go.
Do what?
That was a Twitch thing. Something was weird on Twitch. I fixed it.
Okay.
Dive in front of me, obviously.
I guess I'm gonna like shoot him in the face with my 9mm handgun. Seems like the only thing I can do.
Okay. You're pretty close to him as he's coming in at you. He just bit. He just bit Jaeger and tried to throw him, and now he's turning his attention onto Jane. I'll give you an option. You can kick some ass, and if you do kick some ass, you will, if you succeed on your roll, you'll prevent the attack happening right now on Jane. Or you can roll a plus cool and do an attack with your weapon, but it will not protect Jane. Your choice.
Well, I'm gonna try to protect Jane.
Okay, so you're gonna have to basically like pull a Trinity from Matrix and get up, dodge this with a gun to its head, kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, roll kick some ass, buddy.
I don't want to do this.
Better hope the dice are with
Is
you.
it- It had.
And again,
okay,
should that be
yeah,
should that
it
be
has to tough.
something other than tough?
Yeah, That's what I was gonna ask.
Um,
Would that be like sharp?
Nice.
No,
I don't know about sharp.
no. I mean, I think I could let you do a kick some ass with the cool stat for that.
If I throw throwing knives at him, can I use sharp?
No, that's not gonna happen. I would say you could use cool instead of tough for that because you're using the handgun in that situation. In that kind of
Okay,
narratively, that
That's
sort of
good
fits what you
for
just
me.
did.
that's better. I'm not a toughie. Oh, okay.
Oh my
Mixed
god.
success.
The only successes we've gotten is mixed success. It's
Yeah,
twice.
that's gonna happen a lot, but you know.
I got a 13 when I became a wizard.
All right, so what is the mixed success on that for you? Let's see.
7+ you and whatever you're fighting inflict. Oh no.
Okay.
Inflict harm on each other.
But again, that would be like if you're fighting.
Yeah, but he's at point blank range, so he's going to take harm. What's the harm on the handgun?
-2.
What?
It's gonna heal me,
Healing
right?
gun.
No, the gun you're shooting him with. How much harm does it do?
It's 2. It's 2.
Okay,
Healing one.
so you put the gun to his head and kind of giving Jane this brief reprieve. He sort of like turns to the side to smack you. You manage to get off one shot before he does. And you fly back, taking 2 harm, and are knocked prone once more. But you do 2 harm to him as he kind of stumbles backwards. You can see the blood dripping from this wound. Now it's not closing.
So can I use a luck to not get harmed?
Yeah, you can spend 1 luck to avoid any harm.
Because if not, I'll be dead. So I'm gonna
Okay.
take that luck.
All right, go ahead. What's your luck special?
Okay, so now I get to pick an aspect of the current situation, and you have to tell what other conspiracies that aspect connects to.
Nice.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's not regular corn, it's alien corn.
Alien corn, yeah.
Zenlom 3.
So, yeah, I mean, can the aspect just be like the maze, like the corn maze in general? Like, I'm not sure, like, exactly what to ask about in this situation. Like, there's really 2 things happening. There's a minotaur and there's corn. So one of those
Could be now. What about the other the reporter?
That guy's dead.
Yeah, I feel like
He ate him before he ate his son.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean I will say this: the maze is essentially an extension of the Minotaur, so that's not going to be like a separate aspect.
Okay.
There's lots of different things that have happened. Lots of different things have been said by the Minotaur. Lots of different things have been viewed and stuff. So you can pick any of those as different aspects. But you got to pick one.
I think you can cut the horn of a minotaur.
That's actually funny because I was gonna say, what about the horn itself? Can I see if the Minotaur horn, like removing a Minotaur's horn, like what other conspiracies does that connect to?
Okay, so you choose the Minotaur horn situation. Jane needs Minotaur horn for the circle, all of that.
Yeah. I figure I almost died for Jane.
Okay.
I would ask, kind of. That would be where my brain
connect
is.
to.
Yeah.
Minotaur horn is used in several at least you would have read about it being used, like potentially in like some of the ancient texts and stuff like that, maybe even in the library when you were going over some stuff with Jaeger at some point. But Mentor Horn is used in several like big magic rituals, like really kind of defining ones. But the primary aspect that they typically involve is the summoning of something. A lot of those somethings are suggested to be from somewhere beyond the veil. It's not always the same source. It can be like kind of like demons in some cultures and devas in another and stuff like that, but it's never necessarily the same thing. But what that does kind of give you a connection to is the fact that ancient oak is often used as a ritual to abate those same types of rituals. There's your connection. That connects the ancient oak conspiracy to what you're seeing happen as a request by the circle in this case. But that's all you get. And you don't die. You also get that.
And I don't die.
And you don't
That's
die.
a pretty big one too.
Yeah. You are kind of slammed to the side. You don't fall on your ass. You just kind of slide on your feet and don't fall over.
Like a boss.
It looks very perturbed, I will say, at you for a moment. So you hit it, and kind of rain shakes its head, and briefly seems to have just sort of forgotten about the attack that it was making on Jane for a moment. Clearing its head, it refixes its gaze on you, Jane, and begins to let loose this kind of roar, going down on all fours, preparing to charge once more, still facing you. What do you do? So you basically made it so he didn't take harm that round. Jane didn't take harm. Just so we're clear, you did damage to it, you took damage from it, but you avoided the damage, and you made Jane avoid the damage. So that was a very successful turn for Lester.
Yeah.
But now it is still targeting you, Jane. It is beginning to charge straight at you. It is your turn. What do you do?
Lightning bolt.
Well, lightning bolt. I'm going to reach. I mean, he's taking some wounds now, but he doesn't seem.
He's always
like
been taking wounds, right? Every time he
Right.
got shot, and it would bleed, but it would start to heal back slowly, very, very slowly.
Right.
And then when he came back from that first scream you heard, the one that you assume was Paddington, he was
Yeah.
fully healed. And then the
that's
second
unfortunate.
scream you heard, which was his son, he also came back fully healed. He doesn't seem to be able to do this when he's not within the corn, the living corn.
But now he's seemingly taking damage in a different way. But overall, he's still
He's
quite
not
healthy.
healing it back because he's standing on dead corn.
Right.
The corn where you are currently at, basically in this arena now, he can't regrow. It's all dead. It's not necessarily dried up, for your information, Gideon, but it is dead. It's like falling off. It's like turning more or less into like a black kind of ash and just sort of falling to the ground in some cases. It looks diseased.
Is that spreading throughout the whole field now? Or
Yeah,
like,
it's spreading throughout the entire field. It's just really slow. So you'll see some of the tall corn down on the edges kind of fall over a little bit. So this black circle from the center of this cornfield is now just slowly spreading out in all directions, and all the corn is starting to fall. And within like 40 minutes, it'll probably have the entirety of the cornfield dead if it continues.
And the sky looks normal now too, right?
The sky looks normal, and it's cold now. It is no longer
so we
unseasonably
can
warm.
navigate our way back to the road.
It looks like basically the main magic that was supporting the boon this place had
Just been destroyed.
It has been destroyed because the land is now cursed.
Because of the finger.
You cursed the land. Nothing will ever grow here again.
You know,
I'm
this.
sure nothing will go wrong later.
You know,
The fact that we're all kicked out of the circle too.
it's real easy to blame the cleanup crew. This is the Minotaur that started this. Blame the Minotaur.
It's fucking.
I wouldn't have had to do that if it wasn't for this Minotaur. Okay, I will. Okay, well, I'm going to
Dig up the finger.
reach into my pockets, pull out a sprig of mint, pop it into my mouth, chew it up, and blow frigid air at the Minotaur. Magically speaking.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Trying to freeze his ass.
I will allow it, but you have to spend a
Right.
spend a luck to do that.
We have plenty.
Luck is infinite, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, infinite up to 7.
I mean, we're all retiring after this round anyway.
Yeah. Scared. I'm going back home.
Maybe 8 if we get high enough level.
Okay, so spend a luck and use magic and hope you don't roll low.
How about a 14?
Oh shit. That's
Holy
high.
shit. Okay.
Monster kill.
Can't do better than 10 unless you have the advanced improvement.
Yeah, I'm just reading the thing. Okay, so describe what this looks like.
Crazy though.
Well,
It's
obviously,
it's going to deal 3 harm. Describe what it looks like.
Jane is thinking, this guy obviously made it warm, so that must be a thing. Maybe, obviously it might be just purely because of the corn, which seems a little odd, but
Okay.
I'm assuming he likes it nice in those Greek Isles and whatnot. So, along those lines, and using her brand new, taking advantage of whatever that just happened to her, she suddenly feels like she's able to tap into this.
Okay.
She's worried about what the implications are, but she doesn't really have time to think, knowing that another hit from this Minotaur is gonna probably kill her. And she, like I said, she chews up mint and then just blows, and it's like it starts out, you don't really have a visual effect, but it just kind of amplifies, and she blows much longer than anybody should be able to do. And it just kind of, then you kind of do see like almost like snowflakes coming out as part of this cone of like just frigid air, like
Okay, so adding to that, I will say the air crystallizes and stuff, and we see this frigid air beginning, it spills out from the sides of it as though causing a fog with the temperature gradient that occurs around it. Kind of billows out and rolls down to the ground beneath all of your feet at this point. It continues more and more and more, and we can see as our camera moves in on Jane's face, her eyes are just solid black. And these little tendrils of black streak slowly down her face more and more and more as she lets loose this magical force, signifying the permanent spending of the luck point there. And there is a brief moment where our camera sees, as well as any of the other hunters, standing behind her, 8 outstretched shadow tentacles, almost in a wing-like formation. Hat tipped low, and about 10 feet tall, completely slender. You see the full form of this shadow man that has followed you relentlessly since the steam tunnels. It stands about 5 feet behind Jane temporarily as she conducts this this spell, this crazy wind that blows from her. You don't see it touch her. You don't see it move literally at all, except for just the slight waving of these shadow-like tentacles that almost form wing-like shapes in the air behind it. And then as you complete the sort of or I would say not complete, but actually get to like the crescendo, the largest moments where it's starting to fog out more and more, and the Minotaur turns, bits of his flesh starting to freeze. All of you seeing the strange tentacle form behind Jane, he just disappears into shadow. There's just darkness all around behind you for a moment, which leaves essentially creeping away. And you can see the ground beneath still dying, turning black, covered by this mist that's spilling out from Jane's mouth, or from the cone rather than spilling out from Jane's mouth. The Minotaur holds his hands up towards her, shielding himself as best he can. You deal 3 harm that ignores armor. The Minotaur freezes to solid ice and shatters before you.
Oh, shit, dude. I'm scared of you, Jane.
Now, during that ice blast, I did wink at Gideon as he's wondering what devil he's aligned himself with.
You turn to the rest of the group. Your eyes still black. Tendrils retreating. Takes about 10 seconds for it to go back to normal. There is sort of a feeling of utter hatred that rescinds with these tendrils of black until you feel mostly yourself with sort of a worry in the back of your mind. Something that just you can't quite put your finger on, but a feeling of anxiety that sits there. You look around you, and you just see Korn dying in all directions. Now that its link to the Minotaur has been severed, it's no longer magical, and the resistance it was putting up against this curse is diminished greatly, and it just, within seconds, the field is dead, and you see this blackness spread out beyond the field, to the olive fields beyond, to the other farms. All of them dead for almost about a square mile, it seems like, in these farms. Quite a few of these farms have affected. Corn and olives and grapes, all dead.
That was pathetic. Do I have to do everything around here? I glared at everybody while I'm still kind of shaking off this unusual anger.
Okay.
Grabbing my wounds. Mr. Meyer, are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine, obviously. Yeah,
I look around.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
I don't know, Miss Meyer. You don't sound alright. Is he gone, though?
He's
That's kind of slowly...
a shattered body there on the ground. It's like he's not made of ice, but it's like he was frozen in a freezer and then moved, and part of him broke in half, and every cell is frozen straight through. He's not moving. As he begins to melt, you can see that he is sort of shifting slowly towards a human.
All like the fur on the back of my neck spiked straight up after the spell.
Okay.
I kind of look over at Jinx while I walk towards the thing growling, but then I focus back on the Minotaur and slash towards its head with like a stabbing claw motion just to make sure it's dead.
Okay, yeah, just gotta... As you do so, you can see it's morphing slowly back into a human
Here,
form.
Michael, could you grab those horns for me?
Lester, are you okay?
That's a deer.
Yeah, I'd also be heading towards Lester.
I think so.
Okay, so all of you that are unstable, you are going to, within the next, if you don't receive first aid from somebody, that kind of thing, within the next, 20 minutes, you're going to take another harm, just so you know.
Good. I think we need to see a real doctor. These wounds aren't looking good.
I've got first aid kit in the car.
Think that'll be enough.
Does
It's big enough for all of us.
I have a first aid
did you
kit
hear what
too.
did you hear what Jane said? Michael asked you to remove the horns.
You have to ask again before Michael actually snaps out of whatever he was in, and then he'll wrap his paws
Michael,
around
please,
the horns
quickly.
and rip them off.
Okay. He is changing into a human form right now, so the horns are kind of starting to diminish. I will give you an opportunity to grab them, but it's going to be a roll, basically, to rip it off before it goes away. So I'll let you do, I think, a plus weird roll for something this fucking weird, honestly. So just do a plus weird.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wow.
I just envisioned
Okay.
like his foot stomps down on his chest and grabs
circle-
two hands of the horns
Yeah.
and just pulls the whole head off.
Yeah, I'll say you put your foot down, grabbing both horns, and just kind of. There's a moment where you're like pulling them apart, and there's this crunching, crackling sound, and then they both break free. And then very soon afterwards, the guy forms back into this man, this large man that was there before, and then starts to age rapidly before you
Thanks.
until he looks like basically a mummy, like a mummified body,
Can I look around and see if I see...
in still baggy modern clothes.
Do I see any other bodies now that the corn has wilted?
So yeah, now the corn is all wilting around. You can see the bodies of Paddington and his entire camera crew
Oh,
are all there dead. There's 5 people dead, as well as the his son is dead as well. It looks as though the flesh has been ripped from all of them and consumed directly. They look like they have been eaten and like rapidly, but also kind of shriveled. And then, of course, the Minotaur body, who's now like a mummy kind of body. So a total of including the Minotaur, 7 corpses.
Gideon's pretty shook. Gideon's looking around, and this is a scene. This is kind of like
Yeah, and it's still spreading.
it's like a hellscape.
Curse is still
yeah.
spreading. Yeah.
You know, we won, but it was crazy.
I'll walk over to Jane as I shift back to human form and hand her one of the horns.
Thank
Okay.
you so much. This may hopefully
Pocket
help
the other
smooth
one.
things over with the circle. I'll sort of watch you do that and not say anything.
Miss Meyer, what did you do?
There's no time for that. Let's we better move along.
Yeah.
here.
I don't know how we're gonna explain being here.
I'm
Think
gonna
we
try my first
better
aid
not.
kit on Lester.
You can see your van and the car now. I mean, the corn is now rescinded. It's not even that long of a walk out to it. It seems like it's crazy because it was a sort of like holodeck like thing where you're in here and the maze would keep redirecting you and wouldn't let you leave. But now that it's no longer this magical place, it doesn't have these energies. It's just a field with dead corn in it, and you can even see your van right over there. It's cold, it's chilly in general. The mist that from the super cold breath of Jane is still kind of settling out on the ground here, creating this sort of spooky movie fog that you see as you guys begin to walk your way towards the van and conduct first aid to stabilize your wounds before you will need to heal properly at a actual clinic. So either the hospital or the clinic you have in your haven, which will take a few days probably to get back on your feet at this point.
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to eliminate the unstable.
Okay.
Yeah, I need that as well.
So yeah, you don't need to roll on that. You can just take time to do that since you're not in
All right.
any duress. So you use your first aid. I will say you probably need to replace the first aid kit because you're using so much stuff from it, basically at this point. So we'll have to like roleplay you getting that or something at some point. So just make note of that. You need to buy another first aid kit somewhere. But you use tons of these supplies and patch yourselves up in the back of the van. And then I assume you leave?
If we're stable, we don't have to.
I mean, it will take you like 30 minutes in the van of getting stable.
that's fine.
Do
Patching
you
up,
think
getting some
there's
bandages
anything in
on.
the house?
Unless anyone is stable enough to drive while we're getting worked on.
It's up to you guys. You have 2 vehicles there.
It's not.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bandages first.
Yeah, we got
I
to
don't
stay
know
here.
first aid, so I'm actually gonna go explore the house.
Are you
Okay.
unstable?
No, I'm good.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
I need
So
that.
you can open
need
the
some
door of the
band-aids.
house. It's unlocked. It is just basically a nice farm home. It's very kitschy in its decoration. Sort of has a the air of being decorated in like the 1940s and 30s, and some of that stuff is still in here. But it also has a few modern things, and you even see a few that's like an old pump from the 1800s and stuff like that. There's all these sort of anachronistic things throughout the home, but other than that, it's pretty much just a normal 3-bedroom home.
Minotaur's the
some
weirdest.
If there's something
weirdest
specific you're
foe,
looking
yeah.
for, I'll let you make a roll and you can see if you find that. But other than that, it's just a nice house. Not like a super nice house, but it's just like
Yeah, just anything if there was anything I could potentially connect that like mattered to the Minotaur.
Okay. Roll a plus sharp, I think.
He's got to have some pottery or some shit. Damn, dude.
If I got experience for advanced successes,
Yeah,
Never,
for real.
you'll never level up like that.
Okay. So, like I said, it looks like a regular farmhouse on the outside and the inside in general, but making your way around inside of the place, going through the bedrooms, it all just looks super normal. You manage, and I will say, you probably managed to find, like, going through some of the drawers looking for weird stuff, like $500 just in cash inside the house. And then you step outside the back door, like, fuck, there's nothing weird here, and you look to your right, and there's a storm cellar out the back, and you go to that, and you can see that it's locked from the outside. But it's not very difficult to get past the lock, considering that it's just a shitty, like a really crappy old padlock. It's just simple wooden doors. So without too much effort, you can kind of like break the padlock off of the wood and get inside the storm cellar to look around. And it's a very small space. There's no real exploration in there. It goes down about 8 feet beneath the house itself. And in the interior of it, you can see there is a small, kind of, not small, but like a big bedding kind of area with hay and stuff in the corner that looks like it's been pressed down and slept on some. Also, the inside the what is odd is there's all of this like old, like really old looking artwork. They're made of like mosaic tiles and things like that, little art pieces that are on the walls and the floor inside here that all look essentially like ancient Greek. And there is a singular statue of a minotaur kind of like doing this pose, looking up. The human body essentially fully nude, like a male body, and the statue looks like it's made entirely of bronze, and there are all these little carvings around the base of it that you have no fucking clue what you're seeing, but that's what you see. That's like that's where all the weird shit is in the storm cellar.
I will take the statue and of course the money and head back to the van.
Okay, so you pick up the statue. It feels warm to the touch, almost, kind of oddly, like way warmer than it should be because it's cold in here. And you pick it up. It doesn't burn or anything like that. It's just like, wow, that's weird. That's weird. But yeah, you take it with you. Exiting
Is there
the.
any sort of bag that I could put it in that was in the house?
I mean, there's no bags down here in the cellar, but I mean, up in the upper part of the house, you probably would find like tons of like canvas sacks. It's a farm, so there's gonna be.
Yeah, so I can just put everything in that and
Yeah.
take it.
Even like shopping bags that have been used before, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you have no problem finding a bag to put it all in. You make your way back to the two vehicles parked alongside the road. As you're exiting the area, you will see parked further down the road, kind of on the opposite side of the farm, where the roads kind of spike out on that smaller road that the deputy went down in the morning. You see the van parked there that would have belonged to Paddington. So they must have parked down there, kind of snuck their way on foot into the farm, coming this way. You make your way back to the rest of the group, and by this point, the rest of you have kind of you're finishing up, patching up, and stuff. No longer bleeding. What do you guys do?
We should probably get the heck out of here, huh? I'll start the van. Whoever's in.
Did we did everyone get patched up?
Yeah, I believe he said everyone that needed
Yes.
it. So I still have harm, but I'm stable now. So all the ones past the unstable part are healed.
No, I think
No.
first aid. Oh, we had to look at that. I feel like first aid actually makes you +1, like heals you 1, but does not cure stable.
But it prevents it from getting worse.
It doesn't. Like I think we still need to go to basically get the medical treatment.
Routine first aid heals 1 point of harm for a single injury or condition and takes a few minutes. Additional first aid will only help someone if there's a new injury or condition to treat.
So actually, it cures a point, but it does not stabilize. But again, I mean, now narratively, you know,
4 plus
Cynycal
harm
won't make
wounds
us
need
damage.
Right. I'm not gonna make you roll
So
tough like
often.
every minute and stuff because you're not in combat. And
Yeah.
move around like that. But yeah, 4 plus harm wounds need stabilization and long-term treatment. It's basically my call for how long that takes. As I said, that's why I said you will need to be in a clinic, a proper clinic, the hospital or the one you have, for multiple days, like a week's time, basically, to heal that all back.
Where do we go, guys?
So
So everybody heal yourself 1 harm except for Michael, and then that's all you get.
We go to a hospital. We're gonna have to explain how we got this hurt.
who needs hospitalization?
Yeah, can we go
Gideon
to the clinic?
coughs and blood just like kind of starts pouring out of his mouth.
I could use some treatment. I kind of glance down at the giant wound in my side.
Lester's also messed up, right? So
Yeah,
Okay, so here's a problem.
it's a capacity.
I have 2 beds, and there's 3 of you.
Love it.
So someone's gonna have to go to a hospital.
Someone is going to have to actually go to the hospital.
Well, that makes it a little easier to explain than all of us being this injured, at least. Who's like the least suspiciously injured?
I mean, it's all
None of these injuries are
burns
natural.
and stabs. So.
Well, mine are like
You're
force damage. I could go to the hospital.
you're charming, Gideon. I'm sure you can talk your way through
Fell
that.
down some stairs.
Yeah, I fell off a ladder. I was painting, and I fell off a ladder.
I mean,
Basically, all my injuries.
I mean, you might be able to get away with that. Like, I will say, like, the way your injuries look, you did get gored a little bit by the bull when he charged you the one
that's
time.
right.
And then he mostly beat you up. So if you wanted to say you
Threw me
fell
around.
off a ladder, like you fell off a roof onto a fence or something like that, that
I
might
think I could get away with that.
that might work. But you're
Jeez-
going to have to make a
Jeez
roll.
Louise.
Either way.
Just give
Yeah,
him
you
some
can
G's
drop-
Louises. Start preaching to them. They'll let you out of there. No, it's not a big
Just
deal.
drop me off at the clinic, and that might be the best solution. Well, maybe I
Michael,
shouldn't drive then.
did you find the missing kids?
Oh yeah, I actually totally forgot that. My bad. So in the basement, you see the
not
bodies
well.
of 2. You see the bodies of like 2 smaller
Oh no!
2 smaller bodies that have been shriveled.
So there were
Oh,
there were
shit.
other bodies in the field that were revealed, but they were not the kids.
That was the camera crew with the Patterson.
Yeah.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't just leave the bodies in the field when this happened. They would get rid of them in other ways and stuff. The kids happened last night, so they haven't fully got rid of them yet. And the Paddington shit just happened, so they're still just in there. He was going to go back and clean it up later. Oh, you got a boot of fate for Gideon and Michael. Where were you earlier?
That would have been helpful, yeah.
Right, let's
Nice.
go.
Well,
I found the 2 kids. They were drained.
Thanks for the
down
boons
in
there,
the tool
J5.
shed, like the others.
Dinner and Despo run.
Okay, well, Michael, I guess you could take Gideon to the hospital. I'll take care of these 2.
who's driving
The
a
van.
van?
Cool.
Mr. Toten, would you like?
I can drive my car and take Jane and Lester to the subway haven.
That would mean, man, I'm really not supposed to be letting this many people drive this thing. God, gosh, this hurts.
Given
they
your
won't know I'm
wounds, I'm
driving.
sure your people will understand.
All right, Mr. Ward, please just drive carefully.
That's his middle name.
All right, I'll give my keys to Michael then, and I'll kind of scooch over into the passenger seat of the van,
Okay.
gripping my wounds.
So you have 2 vehicles. Who's driving which vehicle?
I'm driving Gideon's van.
I'm
Alright.
driving mine.
Okay. Yeah, nobody died. I mean, it was close. It was
And
really
I
close.
blast.
Yeah, it was.
I
They
blast
spent,
some
they spent a
metal
lot of luck
on the way
points to
out.
stay
You
alive.
don't really die in this game until you burn through luck. Like you,
Yeah. Yeah. Luck
You're-
is like
it's
your
impossible
ultimate
to
HP,
die.
but it's permanent. You don't get that shit back. So
it's like
there
literally
is,
kind
you
of
can
like
get
the
like
lifespan
1
of
point
your
back
character.
from leveling up once, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, after level 5.
Yes, that's one of the advanced level up things. Okay, so the 2 vehicles start up and take off down the road one by one. As they leave the area, our camera moves out and up, seeing them drive back down the road towards Hushwood proper.
I hope you
just
don't mind.
We just
And
see
I turn
there
up
in the
Tabernacle Choir.
the Tabernacle Choir. We just see the moon there and silhouetted in the moon briefly with the fading January fog, this strange black circles spreading out in the area still, kind of hitting the outer edges of some of these other farms and dissipating somewhat. And then this strange tall figure with the hat and the shadow tentacles standing atop the house for the briefest moment, watching the vans heading off in the distance, and then as quickly as we see him, he disappears in a flutter of black smoke as we cut to our next scene.
Which might be in my car, because Lester, could you use your burner phone and make an anonymous call? Tip the police off to the farmhouse?
Oh yeah.
So I will say this: as you guys are driving away from the scene, you probably do hear and see coming the opposite direction police, like sirens and stuff, like this lights on top of their cars. So many gunshots were shot
I got it.
as part of this. For sure, people are going to be reporting this already. And
Yeah.
the surrounding farms that are having their crops die all of a sudden, they're going to also probably start reporting, like, oh, there's a chemical spill or something like that. So you're going to see ambulances, fire trucks, and police vehicles all down the road as you kind of like pull off to the side as they come by, and then pull back onto the road to continue your trip.
Oh,
so you don't need
okay.
to call them to light them off, because they are
Yeah,
for
especially
sure
the-
aware.
The gunshots after the lair was damaged.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like all the
'cause-
fighting that happened afterwards, they would have heard. So
Shotguns, loud.
Yep.
It's like extremely detectable.
so anyway, you drive into town. Where's the first stop for each of the vehicles?
For me, straight to the Haven, because these two need infirmary.
Okay, so you go straight to the Haven, kind of stumbling down the stairs, closing, of the bell as you enter through the tailor shop, locking the door behind you.
I probably wouldn't go through the tailor shop. I'd probably go through my house.
Okay, so go in from the bottom of your house, the lower, closing any of the blinds and the curtains, so people can't see what's going on from the outside, bringing them down the steps and into the interior of your Haven, laying the 2 people down that are most injured on the beds, and beginning their long-term treatment, hooking them up to IVs and stuff. We see Jaeger kind of go into his like doctor mode, rolling up his sleeves one quarter, pulling out a little syringe and starting to work on you.
Basically this whole time in the car ride and even now, Jane is kind of like sort of pretending to be asleep or out of it, just to kind of avoid too many questions at this point while she kind of thinks about what the hell just happened.
Okay. Let's go ahead and cut to the van. Who's in the van? It's Michael and Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Michael, you drive Gideon to the hospital. What do you guys do when you get there?
Oh,
specifically, that's Hushwood Memorial Hospital.
I was gonna say, I thought you, for a second, I thought you were taking me to the veterinarian's office.
You just want to be dropped off? I can park the van back at Lester's.
I could probably make my way by myself once. Yeah, you could just drop me off in the parking lot. I'll be all right.
Did good today.
I think we did. I think, to be honest, I don't really know how I feel about what just happened. Miss Myers kind of scared me today. But like you said, I think we did do something good.
I'm not the only one with darkness, it seems.
Huh. Yeah, that would.
She's been at it a while, so.
I don't know. I got a lot of questions. I know that. But please take care of the van. And I guess I'll just give you all a call when they let me out. Oh gosh, this really hurts. I'm gonna go in there now. Thanks for the ride.
Like half shoving about.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna step out of the van, kind of close the door, and as he's driving off, I want to notice on the side the little scratches that he left in the door. And I'm just gonna as he's driving off, I'm gonna take notice of that.
Instead of just it's like peel out driving and you hear like metal playing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Gideon kind of sighs and then kind of tries to straighten up a little bit, and he
it hurts when you do.
Yeah, I figured as much. I'm gonna try and fix my hair a little bit. I'm just gonna limp into the hospital now.
You just, you do that, you're like, okay, I look good, and you cough up some blood.
Yeah,
and,
a little bit of blood.
Stumble into the emergency room. Basically going up to the counter and right, essentially, in the ER, and the nurses immediately look at you and oh dear, honey, what happened to you?
Oh, I fell off a ladder. It was something bad. I was up high painting. Oh,
all right.
I don't know.
We can say
I think
that for
I fell
later.
on something too, and I'll point at the gore wound where the horn went through me.
And she pulls up a phone and says something very quickly into the phone after punching a couple buttons, and hangs it down, and a stretcher comes in with several other nurses, and they're ushering you onto it. All right, easy. Laying you down onto the stretcher.
Thanks so much. Oh,
they begin to wheel you into the back, and that's when they start going to work on you immediately as you're being pulled back. They pull out scissors, they cut your clothes straight up, and you're bleeding pretty badly still.
Yeah,
but you're keeping it mostly in yourself, and they've kind of pulled your hands to the side and are beginning procedures on you and moving you. One of them is checking your eyes with a little flashlight, and son, do you know what happened?
Yeah, I was just painting, and I think the rung of my ladder just snapped right underneath me, and Oh, if I didn't have the Heavenly Father looking out for me, I think I would have been a goner. I think I
you're
might
gonna
have fell
to
on something
roll-
too. There was something on the ground and it like jabbed me real sharp like, and I yelped and you know.
I think you're gonna, even though this isn't a hunter, I think you're gonna have to use the keep a secret move,
Okay, all right,
which is down under your other moves section.
yeah.
Well, my lucky bullhorn, I keep it down in the yard.
Okay, so when you learn
Praise
information from fellow
Jesus.
hunter, roll plus charm or plus cool, whichever is higher. That would be charm.
Yeah.
So
10.
Thank our Heavenly Father up above.
On a 10 plus, you don't reveal anything. So, that's awful, hon. You working in your yard or something? And they just kind of take you in the back and begin working on you, sort of moving into small talk. They seem to utterly believe you.
Nice.
And our camera
Oh,
kind of
thank
like
you so much. Oh.
stays where it's at as you're like wheeled into the place. We hear your voice.
Ignore
as
that
you're
he was
trailing
painting at night.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he fell. So you move it. You're moved into the back, and they begin treatment. It's going to take like a week for each of you. Gideon, you're going to have to pay because you're in the hospital.
Oh man.
So just keep that in mind. It's going to end up after insurance probably costing you maybe like, I'm going to roll for it, so I don't know 100% know, but let's see.
$30,000.
$30,000. No. Yeah, after what your insurance will cover and stuff, but you have pretty decent insurance from the church. You're still like you're basically gonna still have to pay $500. So.
Oh man. All right, I'll pull out my credit card.
Okay.
I'll charge it.
They're not
like,
charging you now, but it'll be like after the
when
week,
she
so.
like goes to take it from me, I'll like there's like a split second where like I don't let go of it. She has to like kind of force it out.
It's a fake credit card with prayers written on the back.
it's like those the fake tip dollars that they leave behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move from
You don't need
that
money when you got
into-
Jesus in your heart.
We're gonna move from that into any scene that any of you guys want to have. So the stuff that I have here specifically that we need to move through, for stuff that I have set up, I will do at my own pace here, and they're gonna have it after that week. But if there's any scene you want to happen within that week, feel free. And I know, Lester, you were looking to have a thing as well. That I think has to take place after this week of like healing. So, but if there's any scenes you want to have during the healing time, like in the Haven or like on the phone calling each other or anything like that, this is your opportunity to do those. So does anybody want to do anything there? It's your opportunity.
I'll have a quick scene.
Okay. Where would you be at? Just because you're not injured.
As I'm coming
You are,
into
but not that
my home, I actually take his van back to the house instead. It's like, well, I can just go pick him up later. But Michael walks in with the bag. Surprised nobody asked me about this. Kind of sets it down, takes out the statue and puts it in his closet and sets the horn beside it. Stares at it for a moment. Forest Lord. I like that. This kind of goes off camera and you hear like the shower turn on.
Okay. Like the sound of a beer crack open or something.
So, do we know what statue you mean?
That one of the Minotaur that he got out of the
It
cellar.
was
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The naked
I'm
man.
guessing the focus point of like the Minotaur's rituals.
Yes, it was. It's still warm. It still feels warm to the touch when you have it. I would even say you've noticed that probably your little house or apartment or whatever kind of feels a little extra warm, even by having it in here.
Am I in the hospital for the whole
Yeah.
healing time?
Yeah.
Okay.
For a week. But you can make phone calls or anything you want to do like that. People can come see you if you want to have scenes like that. Any of that stuff is fine. You just can't leave the hospital. That's a cool scene with Michael, though. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
So after a few days, Jane would find an opportunity to call the circle.
Okay. 1 second.
They're gonna be so fucking pissed. But didn't they
About
give
what?
you the finger?
Pissed about what? Pissed about what?
Who sent you the finger? Didn't they give you that finger? How did it go
You gotta
against
know what
them?
happened to be pissed at him.
Yeah, pissed about what, bro?
They didn't give it to her. They gave it to her to do a thing to and give it back. So no, they didn't give it to her. They had specific instructions that they told her to send it back. So where are you calling from, Jane?
I assume after a few days.
This can be a week later if you want from your house, or it can be.
I probably would have. Yeah, well, maybe I would have slunk back to my house as soon as I was sort of stable.
Okay, so like let's say a
I
week
made my
goes
call
by.
there.
Gideon, you're able to check out of the hospital. You have $500 debt on your credit card added. Note it down. Make sure you write it down. Michael, you have had like a week's time, kind of. You go pick up Gideon probably at this point, to go take him to Lester's where he lives. You've had a few days with the statue there and kind of have noticed sort of a weird comfort around it to some degree. And that, but nothing like dangerous feeling or anything like that. It's just like literally like, oh, it's kind of nice for some reason. Weird. It's relaxing. There probably have been a couple times as well, Michael, during the night that you woke up in your bed as a wolf. Where you're like, what? I didn't change. And then you're able to just kind of change back and go back to sleep and stuff. But there are a couple times that has also happened, I would say, during that week. Especially if you're sleeping near the statue. Then Jane and Lester, you're healed up over this period of time, kind of able to like get out of the haven for the first time and head back towards your house, Lester, and Jane, your house. We'll go with Jane's call first. You call your number. You hear the phone pick up. There's no
So you
there's
see
no
Jane
answer.
in her basement, and she has what you know it used to be the horn of the Minotaur that has now been ground into dust and put into a package. And she calls up the circle.
Okay. Yeah, you hear them answer. They don't say anything right away, but then there's like a brief pause where they just say, "Report on ongoing processes." I should say.
The legend was indeed real. The matter has been dealt with, and a package will be en route shortly.
Have you placed the finger within the dust?
The finger, regrettably, was lost in the...
Click. They hang up.
Oh dear.
You just hear dun, dun, dun.
And I'll hang up mine.
That's it. That's all you get from it.
And that's it. And I'll take a big old shower.
I will push it much further. Maybe you even call back. You just hear dun, dun, dun. This number is no longer in service.
So I will
Only
hit
it's
the
not
showers.
English. It would be like in Czech or something. But yeah.
Hit the showers myself while I reflect on events.
Okay. Lester.
Yo.
You have an opportunity to do anything you want to do at this point. This would be about the same time Gideon is getting out of the hospital. You have made it back to your home. Maybe another day has passed. Michael would have picked up Gideon at the hospital and probably brought him back home at this point. I would give you a scene in the van together, but he's not there at the moment.
So Gideon's just like showing up back home right now, basically.
Yeah, the van pulls up in front with Michael, and I would say like, I don't know, maybe Jaeger follows or something like that. to, well, here's Michael, so we can figure out what they do. So yeah, Michael, when you go pick up Gideon at the hospital in the van, let's just go ahead and play that scene out, because then we can figure out what the hell happens. Let's play to find out, right? So yeah, and then we'll get to your scene as they get back, Lester.
Mr. Ward, thanks for giving me a lift home. I feel a lot better now.
You're still
Hopefully
sore
not-
and stuff,
good to
but
hear.
not bleeding
Yeah.
anymore.
Hopefully not too much has changed since I've been gone.
And not that I can think of. It's the usual post battle stuff.
Well, I know how that goes.
I will
Us
say this,
warriors
Gideon,
of
Michael looks
heaven.
kind of bigger. Like he's been working out a whole bunch. Like he's like more cut and stuff. It's like literally looks like he's been like in a period of time that would not make sense, right? Like
Mr. Ward, you've
this
been
looks like somebody's been
hitting
working
those
out for like
weights.
months.
You've been hitting those weights pretty hard lately, huh?
Yeah.
What? You changed something?
Maybe it was the extra protein. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
He did eat some Minotaur.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
It's hard
looking,
to tell.
Looking
with
good,
the,
Mr. Ward. Glad to have you on our side.
Things.
Take off down the road. What's the plan when you bring in Lester back? How are you getting home, Michael? Are you gonna leave the van there? I just want to know what your guys are doing.
I was kind of saying what they were gonna do before I was gonna head anywhere.
Well, did you want to get where's the gang? I mean, I know I got a lot of questions still. I don't know if y'all had a chance to talk about anything, but I don't know. I think we need to figure out what Miss Myers was doing.
I've been thinking about that one. The black.
Yeah, that was
was
spooky, huh?
Something new to me.
You know, I've been kind of keeping like an eye on the area, I guess, since it happened, and all the the farms out there are kind of like it. It's not just that one farm we were on that it happened to. I don't really know any other details other than that, but
Yeah, there would be reports on the news of like an outbreak of some kind of soil disease and the general area around there. So even affecting like the Thor's Cask area a little bit, but mostly around the Goldie's Valley Ranch area. Not all the farms there, but some of them were affected and basically going bankrupt.
Big aggro and their monoculture crops. Right?
well, I guess you think that was from the Minotaur's magic was helping everyone else's plants grow. I don't know. Well, I guess we could tell you want to meet at Mr. Oh geez, I can't remember your name now. Mr. Toten's house, Mr. Toten's shop. While we get I can call Lester and have him meet us over there.
He's usually got the books.
That's true. If we're gonna learn anything about it, it'll be there. So I'll message Lester. Call him.
Okay, so you guys make plans to meet at Jaeger's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can go ahead and cut to there then. Assume Lester's going. So everybody convenes basically back at Jaeger's, down in the Haven probably, so you can discuss what happened.
Go in. I'm still limping.
So you hear the little ding on the bell as you enter. At this point, probably January, what would that be? 20th or so, 21st. And so it's like now switching over into like the nights are very, very long. The days are short, right? It's like the solstice time period, roughly speaking. There's sort of a light snow falling in Hushwood now. It seems to stick to the trees in a very like beautiful, picturesque way. The town itself looks like something out of a magazine. It's extremely beautiful as you drive through. There are little decorations being put up on some, or that probably were put up during the week for the solstice. A lot of the trees all over, not like in houses and things like that, but there's like a common, the city of Hushwood themselves actually go around and decorate a lot of these trees specifically for the solstice. And for the most part, it just looks like bits of holly, different types of berries, little batches of sage and stuff like that, and wreaths and stuff like that. But they're very like, I mean, if you know what you're looking at, it's all like pagan ritual stuff from like mostly the Celtic area that you've probably all picked up on multiple times by this point. But it's also one of those things where it kind of is just done in a kitschy kind of way. Like it doesn't look like it would be like some sinister decorations placed. It's like, oh hey, we're putting up the decorations for the council, everybody. You know, you got like children streaming stuff up, and everybody kind of does it every year. So all of that would be
Everyone has
up
a
as you
garden
would-
gnome. They just have the little Celtic symbols on them instead.
Right, exactly. And so this is the scene that you see as you drive through Hushwood on your way to Jaeger's, getting out of your vehicles, and the little ding on the bell as you enter into the space and file your way down into the haven and beyond.
Well, Jaeger's probably sitting at the counter. Like,
Okay,
I
so what do you
missed
guys do?
The smell of your shop, Mr. Toten. How's it going?
Dane would probably show up late.
Things are good. Although, this story of Theseus is utter bull.
Was that a joke you made on purpose?
And sort of like
Michael
close
gives
the
a
book.
chuckle as he heads towards the coat rack, actually looking for a size bigger than what he has now.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, all of you
probably
would
see the book that he
would
was reading
notice
as
he does look bigger. He like literally like physically looks bigger, like he's a bodybuilder now.
Greek mythology book is what he was reading.
So
Just sort of,
you will
like,
you will
let's
find a lot of that
set it down on
story
the
is just
counter.
bullshit. Yeah.
I'll limp over.
How many points to add a negative boon? You can buy a boon for me to use, basically.
A negative boon.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't remember just talking about that.
We had that happen one time.
Since
What brings you in today?
pretty injured. Hi, Mr. Toten. Well, I'm just getting out of the hospital, actually. Figured.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you. Feeling a lot better. I was just talking to Mr. Ward, and I don't know how much talking y'all got to do since the whole thing happened, but I figure now's as good a time as any, right?
Certainly.
Yeah. I mean, you think we did good, right, Mr. Toten?
Did you catch any of the black? And I'll stop as I notice Jane coming in.
Oh, Miss Meyer.
Happy beautiful solstice to all of you.
Beautiful solstice.
Yeah, great weather.
It is nice outside. Reminds us of our Heavenly Father's good graces. What he's blessed us
yes,
with
of
down
course.
here on this earth.
Do you actually, Psycho, does Toten have coats in the same style that I wear? Like the big, fluffy,
Yeah, especially since it's
what's the
January.
word?
He probably
Plaid jacket.
stocks winter jackets and apparel. Clothing shop.
Do you have one, I guess, extra large or whatever?
Big enough? I don't know. Maybe, probably, but
It's like the
I
one
could-
coat.
tailor it for you.
Miss Meyer, how are you feeling?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks for asking.
I haven't really had a chance to talk to you since we took care of that Minotaur business.
Yes, I trust your stay in the hospital went okay. Not too many questions.
Oh yeah, I told them I fell off a ladder, and they seemed to believe that really quickly. I guess I'm the type of person they expect to fall off ladders or something. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm more interested in how you're feeling though, Miss Meyer. You didn't seem yourself the last time you spoke in that cornfield. Kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that was a difficult thing for all of us. I think we were lucky to make it out of that alive.
I mean,
Yeah, Lester had me worried the most.
something definitely looking after us that day.
You displayed some strange magic I haven't seen. Wish to talk about that?
Is that what that was?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say. I was just as surprised as the rest of you, I imagine.
What exactly did you do?
It's hard to explain, I guess.
Did any of us see the shadow man with the big ass hat?
I was wondering that too.
All of you did.
We did?
Yeah, we all did.
Not
Everybody
last
said-
that second time.
At what
Only
point?
the-
Because that
only
was
the second
cast as a
time.
spell.
Right?
Okay.
As he was
yeah.
casting the spell, and then it went away, and that was the only
Oh,
time
that's
you ever saw
right.
it.
When it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, Miss Meyer, but that figure that has been following us, I could see him there when you were casting your spell.
It was almost like he was helping.
There's been someone following you? I turn around with the coat
Oh.
picked out.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't really that like big of a problem before, I guess. And I talked to Miss Meyer about it, and she seemed to think that it wasn't that, like, it was under control at the time. But this gentleman that looks like the guy from the Stranger Signs, he's got like a hat, and he's all covered in shadows. But he's got like tentacles also. I've seen him once outside of the cemetery near Dutch's.
And to be clear, when I say tentacles, it's not like octopus tentacles. It's like tendrils of
Tendrils,
shadow that
yeah.
move like a tentacle would.
Ropes, black ropes.
I
shooting
thought
out of
I'd
him.
maybe made that up or saw something wrong the other night.
No, I saw it too.
That's what's been following.
That was the clearest I'd ever seen him. But 100% that's who it was.
I just figured it was some sort of channeled elder entity helping Jane out. Which sometimes magic works that way. You ask for power that is not your own.
And the price?
I'll kind of glance at Jaeger when you said that, like, yes, we've discussed this before. Remember, down in the basement. Yeah, whatever this entity is, it seems to be up to no good, but luckily it hasn't acted directly against us yet. I would bring it up into the circle, but unfortunately, I think I'm in their out of their good graces for now. They're a little miffed, it seems.
They're mad at
Well,
you?
hopefully you'll be able to fix that up.
Yeah, yes, don't worry. We'll get that sorted out, I'm sure.
I hope so. They seem like not.
I'll
kinda
try to
people
reach
you
out to
want mad.
Camille and see if I can see what the next steps are.
All right.
You think we did good though that day, right, Miss Meyer?
I have no question. We engaged this Minotaur, or even they engaged us. We seemingly had no choice.
He was killing kids.
Surely there's a lesson here that we need to somehow be more prepared next time. We got caught in its labyrinth, and almost was our end. It forced us to pull out all the stops, as it were, and deal with it when we might have otherwise been able to get out.
Yes, indeed. Being prepared would probably change the tide of that encounter.
Indeed, but sacrifices were made, and we achieved our end. I think that's a good day.
Okay.
Anytime,
One less monster down, I guess. That's always
anytime luck is the deciding factor. It is not really a good day, but at least
Could've been
that
better.
monster won't eat any more children.
Could have been a lot worse.
good.
Ran from me, that's for sure. I'll slap the code on your desk there and be like, can you size that for me?
Sure.
Yes, you
you
might
call
take
luck.
measure. You were wonderful. Thank you.
What you call luck, though, I call evidence of a higher power.
Where's Lester in all this?
He's there.
Yeah, he's with us.
He's just been quiet.
Yeah, what are you doing, Lester?
Wait, Lester quiet?
Just sitting there.
Any hubbub on the internet about this that journalist?
Yeah, and what happened with your cop friend too? He saw us there at that farm.
He did. Earlier in the day.
I don't think we need to worry about David. I suspect he may have he may know we were involved, but he may know I think on some level might be okay with it.
He's like our Commissioner Gordon. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe someday he could be. Yes.
Oh, we need to get him get a spotlight. Oh, that would be so cool.
No. That's
No?
way too much attention.
All right.
Across perhaps.
That's not how it works.
I'm just getting excited. I want to get out there. I'm feeling better too. I'm a little sore still, but I'm ready. I'm ready to kill some more of these things. And I'll kind of like look at Michael and then like kind of choke on my words a little bit when I say that.
About that, actually, you figured out any way to fight?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You
got
kind of
my
see like
nunchucks.
Michael like lean over and kind of size you up.
I'm trained in these. I'll pull out my nunchucks and I'll start doing stuff with them. I'm trained in these. They're not just for show, you know.
We think
Roll plus cool.
We might not.
All
need
right.
your, we might not need your services
Ow,
at this
ow,
point
ow.
moving forward.
All right, let's see here. Fuck.
Oof. You get going pretty well for a second, but there's a moment where you like hit yourself in the back of the ear.
Pops right
Jeez
off.
Louise. All right, I'm a little sore still, but you get the idea.
Maybe.
Oh, I get an
Totem
experience.
Could,
Yeah,
Teach you-
you did get an expert.
something a little more sharp,
Sharp.
like a sword.
Sure.
Sounds
That's,
real personal.
Part of the tutelage.
I'll pull out my revolver, or you could use something not personal.
I mean, I'm pretty good at hitting a target from a pretty good distance.
He's got a rifle too.
Yeah, I had my rifle with me last time.
Oh yeah.
But I'd love to go practice. I'd love to go shooting sometime.
Yes.
I'd love to learn
definitely
some-
need to teach you how to use a
some weapons.
flamethrower.
Flamethrower would be fun.
I think on that note, we will cut to the next scene. As our camera moves outside, it's like the last thing we hear is the camera moves outside the building. Yeah, we need to teach you how to use a flamethrower. And then we'll cut a day later to Lester's house with Gideon and Lester both there. Set the scene, Lester. It's all yours, baby.
So, like, what day is it? Like, what?
This would now be the
'Cause it's been like a
23rd
week.
of January,
Okay.
2 days after the solstice.
So that would be Thursday.
Okay. So I would say Gideon and I are hanging out at the kitchen table.
I will add a detail, actually, if you wouldn't mind, Mako. I want to add the fact that since I've been in the hospital for like a week, you just haven't done any dishes at all. So like, I'm basically like playing catch up right now at this moment. Like still.
That's
like,
right, because you
sore.
said that when you moved in with him, you started cleaning things and stuff like that.
But yeah, I'll be at your sink scrubbing.
Well, okay.
I can take a break too if you need me at the table.
Well, no, basically, Gideon, we're gonna have some people over in the next few days doing some renovations, so just kind of keep clear of things. I've been doing a little thinking past few days, and things are, I don't know, after what happened with Paddington, I just been thinking, and
Oh, that other conspiracy
just,
guy?
the thing just, I've been wondering, like, what other things are more dangerous than we think they are. I feel like, I've always, I've been fighting these monsters for a long time, but I've also been fighting other things, and sometimes they overlap more than you would think they would, or are just plain the other thing, if that makes any sense.
I think I'm following you.
It's like how this time it wasn't aliens, so you never know, right? Like,
I really wished it was still.
That would have been a lot easier to deal with, honestly. So that's
feel like it.
That's kind of the thing. So, I just kind of feel like things need to be beefed up a little bit. So I've got some contractors that I know that are going to come in and make an addition to the house, and then that way, you could have a little bit more space. I'll have a little space, and then we'll also have a nice area to be protected if we need it.
That sounds great, actually. Yeah, I've seen some really crazy stuff this past year, and I've been thrust in the middle of some things, and I think that our last adventure was a pretty close call for us, and I think that your head's in the right space trying to protect us a little bit more. I think I've been trying to get there too, so I think that you're making good moves. I think it's a great idea, Lester.
I mean, when it comes to, like, aliens and government, that's one thing, and it's pretty easy to protect yourself against those kinds of things. But
yeah,
man,
the other guys don't seem to
magic
really
stuff
like.
is different.
Yeah, they don't really seem to know that much about the alien stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to open people's minds that much. That's why I kind of, you're pretty open with the way that you think about the world. So
anything's possible now.
you would understand. But there are people out there like Patty didn't believe in the veil at all, right?
Oh, there's people out there that don't even believe in our Heavenly Father. Like, I totally understand.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it's like you never really know what's a conspiracy and what's not, you know what I mean? Like, what's a pyramid scheme and what's like faith, you never really know.
Oh, right. I think I know what you're saying. I don't know, Lester. I just want you to understand that I have a lot of respect for you and atheists in general, really. Like, I honestly believe, and I may be biased here, but I honestly believe that it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe in our Heavenly Father. For you to actually think that all this happened by just pure chance, that we all just came from nothing, and we're here all right now experiencing all this based on pure luck, I respect your ability to see it that way, Lester. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, like, science is an amazing thing once you understand how the universe actually works. It's pretty amazing.
With enough faith, anything's
It's like
possible.
two separate conversations.
Anything's possible
so
with enough faith. That's what you're saying, right?
So basically, keep let the workers do their thing.
Oh yeah, I'll stay out of their way.
We're gonna have a nice little technology
kick her with
workshop. We're gonna have a bit of a little safe room down there, but we're gonna be able to fix things up, so we can fix up our guns and our all our tech and have a nice little place. There's gonna be 2 buttons basically on the door. One of them if you just want me for anything, and then one of them if there's like an emergency, right? So sometimes I'm wrapped up in something, right, and I'll be up in a minute, and then if it's an emergency, I'm gonna let you in immediately, and we're gonna get to the safe room. So.
Oh wait, are you staying? Is that where you're living permanently now? You're moving into it?
Not exactly, but I'm gonna move. I'm gonna kind of move my laptops down there and let you kind of have some room up here, and you can spread your Bibles out all over the table if you want to, and that kind of stuff. We can.
Do you mind if
we
I
have a little
started
bit more
having,
room?
Like, I don't know. I could with all that extra space, I could probably have some groups come and talk
no.
about some scripture. No? Okay.
No.
It is still your house. I understand.
That's yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Family.
the heads
I
up,
like
Lester.
I like family. I like family.
I like
And
family
that's
too.
about it.
Oh,
We're
I
gonna
see.
We're gonna stay there.
I get you.
We're gonna stick with just the family circle. Yeah, people touch
Strangers
things.
are just family you haven't met yet.
I mean, yeah, well, sometimes family.
Like, look
About
at us.
that
It took
time.
us years.
About
to
that
get back
time on
together.
your maybe on one of your TVs, you probably have them on all the time, or you have like an alert set up or something. The news comes on, and you hear acclaimed ufologist Paddington Reynolds found dead with his crew in Hushwood, California. We have a witness here, as well as a officer of the law, Deputy David Moran, to speak on the topic. And you see the familiar face of Deputy Moran. He looks like nervous as he's stepping onto the TV. Excuse me, ma'am. Like, goes to take his hat off, and then like his hair is kind of messed up underneath it. And so he's like, he sees that on the monitor, and he's like, puts the hat back on, and takes his glasses off. Stepping in front of the camera, very, very nervously. The microphone essentially pushed in front of his face. You can see that he is standing kind of in the backdrop of where all of this happened, right? Not in the cornfield, but near it, like near the road, and a car kind of goes by. We hear that Doppler effect. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it would seem that Mr. Reynolds was involved in some kind of agricultural accident, or perhaps some sort of conspiracy to poison the lands out here with chemicals. As you can see, like a significant portion of damage has occurred here. We are currently investigating Mr. Reynolds and his estate for damages against the crops here and against the communities in Hushwood. There's litigation in the works, but other than that, we're not entirely certain what happened. It's being investigated. And they ask a few more questions and go back and forth, but you don't really get any additional information from that.
Well, they found Patty.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? That's awfully sad what happened to him. I don't think he deserved that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought at worst he'd get probed, but, ripped apart and whew.
On that note, we will cut to Jane walking up to the front door of your home. Approaching the door, you go to like with your key to start to unlock it, and you see this shadow appear on the door frame of this man in a hat. The start, you quickly turn around, and there's just a guy there in a suit with the hat on.
Oh, shit.
Is wearing a set of sunglasses that look like small circular rims. Excuse me, Miss Meyer. May we have a word?
I don't feel like I have a choice.
He has a little red ribbon tied, pinned to his suit. I was sent to deliver you this. And hands you a small letter wrapped in extremely fine parchment that forms this envelope. It looks archaic, sealed with a wax seal with the little emblem that you've come to associate with the circle there, and kind of tucked into a little red ribbon. I am to stand here as you read it.
All right, I will kind of keep one eye on him, but break open the seal and read the letter.
You are evicted from your home. You no longer live there. You have been rescinded of your duties within the circle and are to contact them only on penalty of death.
Only if you want.
Thank you, Miss Meyer. And then he snatches the paper away from you and begins to walk away.
Well, that seems quite dramatic.
You'll find the locks have been changed, Miss Meyer. And gets into what looks to be like a pretty nice older model BMW and drives away. Give you 1 second to say whatever you want to say there. I have whatever scene you want to real quickly before we cut away.
I won't say anything. I'll just a bit of a sigh, I guess, and maybe a word look like, oh shit.
All your hats are in that house.
Everything.
Armor.
I will say this.
Oh no, the armor's in the car. Armor's in the car.
you will notice this, like the interior of the house is completely empty. There's probably like little pods, like all of the things that you own specifically that are yours.
Oh, sorry. I'm outside my house.
You are outside of your house.
Okay, or what was?
You have been evicted from your house. You're not allowed to go in there anymore. The locks have been changed. All of your stuff has now been removed and is sitting in the driveway.
Oh, okay, your hats are okay then.
Your hats are okay, yeah. They cut their ties from you as far as you can tell. They said basically if you contact them, either, unless it's like some incredible thing that might get you back in their graces, they're going to make sure you die if you contact them again, because you're a loose end as far as they are concerned. Our camera will just kind of fade away into the fading evening, and we'll see 1 week later pop up at the bottom of the screen as our camera continues to move across the terrain. The snow now a little bit thicker around Hushwood. We move into the area you previously were in, except now we start to follow this really nice black limousine as it drives up the same street you did and turn into the same farm you did. The black fields all around it, forming this perfect circle. Stepping out from it, you see try to make it so people can see it on screen. I think that'll help you. Yes. Stepping out, you see Erasmus Malachi. Essentially the benefactor of many of the businesses here in town. Nobody really knows how old he is. He moves with incredible grace. He's very tall, but he does look quite old. He looks out over the fields here, the place, all of it ruined. His assistant stepping out of the limousine, running to the other side. It's lightly snowing. The assistant pulls out like an umbrella and is like hurrying to put it above his head, and he just pushes it away as he steps out into the middle of the field where all this happened. Goes to the spot where the finger was buried and reaches into the soil and pulls it up and just lets it sift through his fingers and throws it back down, sniffs his hand afterwards, pulls out a handkerchief, wipes his hands off, tucks it back away. The assistant comes up. We have acquired all of the farms, sir, that the farmers won't be going bankrupt. I'm uncertain why you would want to buy land that is obviously not going to produce, though. Certainly this is going to... Not now, he says, as he takes a few steps towards the farmhouse, looks in, walks around the back into the cellar. It's now been cleaned out. He comes out with a single piece of art, mosaic art, and looks at it, turns it left and right, hands it to his assistant, who's just like, what do I do with this? Kind of like continuing to follow him around, holding it along with the clipboard that he's continuing to write down notes on. Should we begin making arrangements, sir? They've already been made. We see now several trucks starting to pull up to the farmland. On each of these trucks, a live ancient oak. All right, boys, start planting them. I want them all through here and all the surrounding farms. If you see black soil, I want a tree down every 6 feet. And the workers begin going to work, moving trees out, the ancient oaks spreading further, the visage that makes Hushwood what it is beginning to be planted. And we can see as the workers start to lift some of these large trees into place and starting to move them. Not all of them are large at this point. Some of them are so small, but some of them are like large trees that are being moved on huge trucks. And as they begin getting planted, some of the grass just starts to spout up around them. Moving around the area, still getting his dress shoes completely covered with mud in these fields. The bottoms of his pants caked with the mud, moving through what is probably a $3,000 suit that he's wearing, not painted any mind, covered in snow, continually refusing the umbrella that his assistant continues to try and offer him. Walks around the perimeter. This will do. Yeah, this will do. The assistant, calling around, kind of like a puppy chasing an older dog, hurries along as he heads back towards the limousine. The driver, seeing this, leans out and starts the vehicle back up, setting air. We hear a light bit of classical music come from within the cab of the limousine. As we get closer, we can hear these light fiddles, Celtic music. He's walking away, Erasmus, back towards the limousine, the assistant following behind him. Sir, what about the house? What should we do with the house? He turns towards it. Tear it down. Continues walking away. No, wait. Looks back at it, sighs and nods. Donate it to the orphanage. They can use it. And then gets back in his limousine. Writes something. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then heads it around hurriedly to the other side of the limousine as it pulls out and takes back off down the road towards Hushwood. And that's the end of the session.
Yeah.
It was a little bit
We
shorter session tonight. We didn't do a break in the middle because I knew it was going to be a bit shorter.
didn't die. We're alive.
Didn't die.
Oh, that's so great.
Okay.
Maybe we were wishing we did, though, at this point.
A little bit shorter session than we did because we didn't have a big break in the middle, but I knew because we were jumping in the middle of the combat, this is part 2 of this adventure, it was probably going to be a bit shorter, but I think that was pretty well paced. We're going to now move into our favorite moments for everybody.
Man,
So if you don't know, this is where we celebrate each other's role play and try and build creative confidence with one another by calling out individual moments within the session that happened. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Who wants to go first?
Fuck it, I'll go. I got one that I was thinking about yesterday, actually, from our previous session.
Sure. I mean, it's the last 2 sessions combined.
Yeah.
So
I remembered when, I can't remember the circumstances exactly, but I remember this specifically because it was something that I never talked about with anybody, and it was just like in the moment I had this idea that, you know, Gideon's probably like trying to learn from Toten, like anything that he can at this point. And so I made some comment to Psycho's character about finishing a book that he loaned me to kind of like portray that. And like without even missing a beat, Psycho was like, yeah, you have to be a little bit more patient. And the reason why he couldn't just give me a bunch is because he's fucking translating them, like from German to English. And I was like, that is such a cool detail that you added on to that little fact. And like,
that is cool.
You just did it in the moment too. And I was thinking about that yesterday, and I was like, I wanted to remember that for today. So I thought that was really cool.
All right. Well,
but then today,
go to whoever next you want.
I really enjoyed Tweet's ad-lib scene tonight, where just him at his house, like it's imagining him just living his daily life is so interesting. Like being a werewolf and like how he like transformed when he was sleeping, you know, that raises so many questions. Like, does that bother him in the sense that he can't ever like get in a normal relationship because now he can just turn into a werewolf in the middle of the night now, like without even realizing it, things like that. But I thought that was really cool, his little attention to detail in his behavior.
All right. What about Lester or Jane or me?
Yeah, Mad Cow, I thought had a really cool moment setting up the Haven that you added.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Level up. I thought that you played off of the things I was adding to the scene really well, especially during that moment. We had a lot of good back and forth today in those moments, and I thought that was really cool. And then let's see, Jinx, Miss Meyer, I thought was fucking awesome how you, and I was trying to call attention to it later by like when I said like you weren't acting like yourself. Like what I meant was like I was acknowledging that like one thing, you said 2 things in this like totally not you way, because Cynycal had described this like intense feeling of like anger inside of you, and you brought it out in the way that you that responded to us. And like I thought that was so cool to be able to give us a cue that you were feeling that. I thought that was sweet, dude. And Cynycal fucking bang up pacing tonight, I thought was awesome, dude. Like it swings smoothly from scene to scene, and like being able to imagine everything as like concretely as I was like throughout the night. Great timing when scenes had, you know, exhausted their usefulness and like moving on before it like became everyone realizing that, you know. Like I thought you did well tonight. That was a skilled session.
I don't think you guys realized, but you could have used the fire that he was breathing, right? So every time he was telegraphing that he was going to make a fire attack, you could have actually tried to use your roll to make sure that that fire attack ends up hitting the corn and stuff, kind of like
That's
a
interesting,
like a
yeah.
Monster Hunter boss battle or something like that.
Yeah.
But you didn't end up doing that. You ended up like actually burying the finger, which I thought was pretty interesting. So,
Great moment.
I'll get to that.
I
So,
thought
yeah.
about just taking the knife and start cutting down corn.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if it's cut and the roots are still alive, it can regrow slowly. But
What I was
Well, it's a
afraid of.
blessed knife.
it's all
I don't
dead
know.
now.
That might work.
Oh,
Hey,
blessed
thanks for
knife
the
might do
follow,
something different.
Morroy.
Ah,
Appreciate
shit.
it, bud. Got a bunch of follows tonight.
Yeah, that was a fun.
That's cool.
I had a lot of fun with that. That was a
All
good
right.
session.
So who wants to go next? Actually, I'll go next. So I really liked just to start with. Well, he's not there, so I'll wait for the next. I'll go through another person. But I liked when Jaeger was like talking about magic, and he said sometimes you have to ask for power that isn't your own to use it. I thought that was super cool
That
and
was
grounded
sick,
a lot
yeah.
of what happened in that instance. I liked the scene with a couple of things I liked here. So the scene that Lester had with Gideon in the house, I thought that was great. I loved how you were basically having two conversations and stuff, and you handled that really, really excellently. But I also just liked the joke you kept making about like choking him. Like it's more of an out of character thing, but like, I just love that you kept joking about that thing that didn't work last time. As for Michael's thing, I liked Michael's scene in his house with the statue, and I like that I get to fuck with you because of that too. I don't think you know everything that's going on there, but it's
he
pretty
knows.
cool. He knows stuff's happening, which is, he's
I'm
pushing
down
he's
for
pushing
it.
the buttons, so which is cool. And then I really liked I liked specifically Gideon, your scene with Lester as well. Like as I said, it was like two separate conversations, so you was like opposite sides of the same thing. You did a really good job of that. I also really liked like when you drove off, you were like, "Hope y'all don't mind," and you turned on the Tabernacle Choir again. That was really good, which was also set off even more by what Michael did. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Pronatins. Well, yeah, I really liked that when you did that.
He blasted the
and he
metal
blasted
when
the
he
metal
drove
and peeled
away. I
out.
thought that was
Such a
that broke
good
me.
Tom
Yeah.
Boyle things.
He
That
like
was-
peels
that was
out
hilarious.
as I'm noticing the claw marks that he left the last time.
Yeah, that was great. And then
Oh, so good.
Jane, you knew that was going to betray the circle. You knew there were going to be consequences because
Yeah.
I told you there were going to be big consequences. You have a little thing to betray them with, a little request basically to betray them for to maybe protect yourself or one of the other hunters, but you didn't have to do it in such a huge way, but you did go for it. Hey, thanks for the follow, Kicker. It's crazy you were already following, but you did that. You went it for it. You fucking just buried the finger, did the huge
Yeah, I know.
betrayal and the big risk. Just went for it. That was super fun. It's gonna change your dynamic a little bit because you are technically right now not in this circle.
Burned,
So
man.
you're gonna have to kind of play this sort of abandoned cultist situation for a little bit. We'll have to work through that and see where that goes.
Cultists that got kicked out of their cult. That's,
You're gonna have to find other
basically
cultists that got
rough.
burned and started their own cult, and then
That's not terrible. That's
uh
interesting.
huh.
There's a lot going on there that could play out. That was really
The
cool. Anyway,
anti-circle.
that's my stuff. Who wants to go next?
I will. Because I definitely liked Michael's moment when he's driving off from the hospital.
Thanks,
I
Lunatic.
thought that was hilarious. I envisioned him driving that way like as soon as he got in the van.
Yeah.
But no, he was polite as long as Gideon was there with him. But once he dropped Gideon off, he was like, "All right, crank up the music and drive my way."
It's great.
That was
Such
super
good
fun.
juxtaposition. Yeah, it was perfect.
And Venom's description of Jane casting the ice magic,
Sick.
I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool. Very fun. All right, Lester, Michael, Gideon, me. Or Lester, Gideon, me. Sorry.
Lester was the whole description of him getting those contractors in and adding construction and everything. I did not piece it together that was his haven until like the end of it, and I was like, "Oh snap! That's what
Yep.
he's doing."
Super cool.
Cheeky
Pretty
fella.
cool.
Very cool. And for Gideon, it was actually convincing the ER people that like he's just a
I
klutz.
forgot about that. That was amazing.
Like that worked out real well.
Good
And
times.
for the keeper, they're at the end giving us the clips of like part of the TV show, as it were, like what's going on behind the scenes, especially with this mysterious dude planting trees and stuff like that. Like
That was cool.
That's really awesome.
Starting to reveal some of the mystery of the town and stuff. It's kind of neat.
Hour of the Hushwood.
You can tell something's going on. It's literally like uncursing the ground and stuff around it.
Yeah. And this guy knows
why
it.
are all those trees there? Yeah. And why are all those trees there already? Why is the whole town covered in trees, etc.?
It's the real plan here.
Am I the bad guy now?
Am I the bad guy now? I love that that's a question that comes up in like every campaign we ever run at some point.
Are we the bad guys?
Yeah.
No, it's the people we're killing who are wrong.
Oh shit. Was there anybody else? Did you do Jane yet?
Oh my god.
My
That
heart
scared
The
balloons.
me.
magic.
I was like, what's happening over
Oh
there?
yeah, the magic. That's right. The description of the magic. All right, and so who else has to go? I think it's
Macau
I can
Matt
go.
Cow. Go ahead.
Yeah, like
who would do it? I don't care what you do.
Lester's scene tonight with his like thinking that through with like the construction workers and stuff. I think that was good detail. Like the fact that there's actual work happening and there's actually has an impact. Jaeger and Gideon, I think both of you did a good job kind of after the Minotaur situation. You both kind of supported the narrative with like the way you guys acted. Like Jaeger's question, like little mention of the asking for power things. Like Jaeger's coming to it from like a place of like knowing a lot, and Gideon's coming from that place of being kind of nosy, which I think is both like nailed your characters really well. Michael, as usual, I think your combat descriptions are really great. Like you go into a lot of detail about what's happening and what it looks like, and I think that's really good. And then Cynycal, I think I think this the Minotaur was really well done. Like there was a lot of mystery. Like I really felt a sense of what's the mystery, what's the mechanics. Obviously it felt very dangerous because it was. I think we were pretty clueless about how to really handle it quote unquote properly, but just
This is the
overall I
first
think obviously
super tough monster you fought.
felt real, and it had the sun dynamic, and yeah, being out in the cornfield I think was really vivid and very exciting.
Yeah, it was a cool place for a battle.
Super fun. All right, who's next?
Macau,
Lester? Yeah,
Yep.
Mecca.
So I really enjoyed with Venom how it kind of made me laugh when Jane was, taken over, but like I saved her, Lester saved her life, and then she gets up and she's like, "Do I have to do everything?"
Yeah.
It was just like, what? It was such good, like in character, out, in the evil character.
That was good. I really liked how you played that anger. That was good.
Yeah. With Lester and Gideon, it's always great how society will bring the religion into things, and it'll, like, for me, it'll catch me off guard sometimes. And I'll be like, oh, religion's gonna play a part of this now too. Okay, all right, cool. Just things beyond what I generally would think of as like a big, part of the story that would make sense, or not to make sense, but more obvious places to interject the religion. Like, yeah. With Michael, I think it's already been said, but when he turned on the metal music and screeched away. I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene. That was really
a
good.
reaction there.
Those 2 little short scenes you did were really powerful and very, very descriptive. Like you in the house and you like in the van. That's all it took to like really push out a lot of character. It's super cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really
I'm really
good.
liking how opposite like Gideon and Michael are.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
really
like the
crazy.
Gideon Michael dynamic. Actually, I feel like they're
It's
like a
really
good odd
interesting,
couple,
huh?
kind of in
Yeah.
some ways. Yeah,
It really is. It's really neat. Like neat, yeah.
good stuff. It's also the same thing kind of with Lester and Gideon too. Like there's like
It is.
it's
There's a similar
kind of a cool,
dynamic.
but also Lester and Michael are pretty different too. They have an interesting triangle.
Yeah, that's really curious.
Yeah.
That was a good session.
One of the things that I'm trying to do with Lester is play like bipolar and like manic depressive, and this is the first session I've gotten to kind of lean into that a little bit. And I think it was Psycho when I was specifically like when we're all at his haven afterwards, I was specifically like not talking, not say, like I literally, my thought was I kind of snuck in, and then it was like somebody was like, wait, is he even here? And then it was like, wait, he's quiet, which was like a really good observation. I thought that was really good. I think with the Keeper, I kind of have 2 things. I like that Patty was brought back, even though we kind of like saw them drive away and stuff. I like that he was brought back, and for his untimely
Cynycal
demise.
brought him back specifically to fuel the Minotaur. So
Well, so I have a clock, right? And I specifically have on one of the points in that clock that Paddington goes back to investigate and is killed by the Minotaur. I moved the clock down and I was like, well, if he kills him, he eats him, so he heals fully. So it's just like, hey,
That's good.
convenient. Nice little snack.
Yeah.
And then he sacrificed
and then
his son to heal himself.
That
too.
was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
That was
crazy.
awesome.
That was last
Yeah.
ditch
That's
thing,
pretty
you could tell.
hardcore.
Yeah, he was
Because I was
cool.
seriously,
yeah.
I was wondering about their whole dynamic, like the Minotaur and his son. Like, is he raising this kid? I doubt that. So like the fact that he ate him just kind of like laid all that to rest for me. I was like, oh, it was a power
he
well. Like,
Yeah, super protective of him too, because I went around to point the gun.
yeah,
He freaked out. I was like, no, not him.
yeah. That's what
But
made
then
me
he just
wonder. It's
turns
like, does
around
he
and
love
eats
him?
later?
No, he doesn't love him. It's just a power well, literally. Like you can't take that from me.
That's his.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fascinating. Really well portrayed though.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Dave is sticking around.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
me too.
still doing stuff. That was fun doing him like in
didn't
the
get it.
interview.
The characterization of his interview, where he's all nervous. Yeah, I like that.
That was
a lot.
fun. I will say, like with the Minotaur, you probably figured out like through context clues of stuff you found in his house that he has had multiple children, like
Totally, I'd imagine.
over hundreds of years and stuff.
And they've all served the same purpose, I'm sure.
At least some probably have, yeah.
Yeah.
As for
Fucking
David,
crazy.
it is interesting. I don't know if you guys caught, like he said that this is like some kind of chemical spill or whatever. On some level, it looks like he was maybe even helping you in some
maybe
aspect.
covering up
right.
for us a bit.
Fucking interesting. Yeah, such a cool
'Cause he
dynamic.
saw
formed
us
in
there.
this.
I think Jalen.
Yeah, he
was
did.
He did not
on
mention
that.
you at all.
He knows we were there, and we haven't heard from him in a week, and we sure as hell would have been suspects on that list if it was anyone not trying to protect us.
He's the only one that knew you were there. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Or important point, I should say.
And he,
All right.
like,
that's everybody,
I think
right?
he
Or
was
is,
also
is anybody not
saying-
going?
no, I think
Oh,
that's
I
okay.
haven't
Sorry,
yet.
Tweet. Go ahead.
Mine will be a little shorter.
That's fine.
For Psycho, I like that he's sticking to kind of like Toten's expert slash mentor thing, where he's not always like, oh, I got to be the guy to shoot him, or I got to go do this, being the lead. He's more contributing in like the supporting ways. So I liked that a lot. And then actually, kind of the rest of you all blend into this next thing, going back to the first session of this mystery. I like the trio kind of going off. Lester, Gideon, Jane.
Oh, right. Little chaos
I
crew.
like that.
Yeah, chaos crewing it up into misfortune, and the keeper kind of keeping track of that and adding like actual consequence that we see play out this session. Whereas like everyone was injured, people had to resort to extremes. There are lasting consequences. So I just kind of like how that all played together across the mystery.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think everybody did a pretty good job too, like falling into these, like you knew that the things you were going to do were going to have consequences. You had to do them. You had to make hard choices, and you went for it, and you didn't try and bargain with me to not make consequences happen or something like that. Because that's the game we're playing, right? We're here to make this cool story that happens and play to find out what the hell happens, which is neat because I didn't know that half the shit was going to happen, but it did. It's really neat.
I'm kind of amazed
It's
that
actually-
nobody questioned Michael, walking away as like everyone's getting treated, and then he just shows up with a big ass like
You looted.
seed
Yeah,
bag,
you went
and no one said shit. There's like
you looted
true.
a priceless
Michael.
artifact.
I mean, I guess we could say like it's a little bit retconny, but I guess we could say everybody was like injured and being healed up, and you got in the van or
The other
whatever
car, or
to take just Gideon, who was injured. So he's probably in the front passenger seat. You just threw it in the back as you were getting in, and
I
Gideon
was
didn't pay
gonna
attention
mention
to it
that,
or
and I
something.
kinda
Like you weren't hiding
forgot
it,
about
but no
it.
one noticed it. Yeah.
Gideon's probably too
was gonna
busy
mention
holding
I
his
put it in the back since he
rapidly
said he
blood-filling
sat in the
bandages on his
passenger.
abdomen and stuff. But
this
yeah,
normal?
that was awesome.
Don't forget about experience.
So that's what I was gonna say. So now we do experience. I like kind of doing the favorite moments before we get to experience because it sort of it contextualizes sort of the stuff that happened. But let's get back into the actual experience spins here. Let's do a little fun music for us while we're doing this. So I'll ask some questions. Did we conclude the current
Oh, yeah.
mystery? Yeah, we
Oh,
did
yeah.
do that for sure.
Right in the face.
Did we save someone from certain death or worse? No, they all died.
Ooh, yeah, they did.
They
They
died.
all
Like,
fucking
I mean,
died.
One of the
each
hunters
other.
count?
Each other.
That not
We saved
include us?
Lester.
That doesn't count. That doesn't include you.
Non-hunters, guys.
Yeah,
Non-hunters.
non-hunters.
Yeah. No,
People
that's-
even left and then
I mean,
came
I'm
back
basically
just
not a
to
hunter
die.
now. I just lost my job, so
That's true. That's true. But you
Did
saved
we
yourself.
learn something new and important about the world?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say yeah. I would say
Big
yeah on that.
time. Yeah.
Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? Yes, for sure.
Yeah. That's 3 then, huh?
So that's,
we get 2
2 XP.
experience. I
So
leveled
makes
up
2.
with that. Ding.
Right on.
Holy smokes.
All right, so
Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about this
Who
one.
has leveled up this session? I know a lot of XP ended up getting spread around.
rolled-
There's a lot of failed rolls, dude. There was like the most failed
Yeah.
rolls I've seen.
So yeah, how many
whole-
experience points did you get, Michael?
Just the 2.
So 2 plus 2, right? Didn't
Wow.
you fail earlier? I thought you failed a roll earlier.
I don't believe so.
I don't think he did.
Did you not?
I remember getting all the advanced successes.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now.
He did the best of all of us.
I did, and then we negotiated that it would have been a cool instead of
Yeah,
charm,
I see what it is.
so that
yeah,
bumped
yeah.
it up.
That's what it was. Okay. Anybody else?
I got 2 through the session and 2 now, which did level me up.
Okay. You also completed your goal.
That was one of those 2, I think.
Okay. So you did. Oh, excuse me. You did level up.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Jaeger, Lester?
4 out of 5.
Lester.
If I failed a roll but used a boon and that made me not failed, is that still an XP?
No, you didn't fail the roll if you used the boon
Okay,
and
all right.
succeeded.
Then yeah, I'm at 3.
Unless we get XP for spending a boon.
No, you don't get XP for spending boons.
Nice try.
You just get XP for your little personal goal quest kind of things. You get XP for failing rolls, and you get XP for certain moves that tell you get XP, and you get XP for the end of session roundup questions like these.
Man, I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna pick.
So it looks like 2 of you leveled. 2 to 3 of you might next session. That's pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully we'll be playing next week. We had to skip a few weeks here and every now and then. I don't want to play if too many of us can't be there for a week, but especially in the middle of a session like this, because this was part 2 of the previous mystery. But next session will be episode 5, a brand new mystery, and we're going to be skipping forward in time, like probably about a month or 2. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Everybody that came out, Lunatic. Everybody should go to Drive Through RPG and pick up Lunatic Designs maps. They're really good. J5, everybody that came out, appreciate you. Ton of follows. J Kicker came out for the first time. It was super cool to see you, Kicker. Miss you, man. You're awesome. We had follows from Kicker, Pronatins, Moroy, Kleishen, Itetstau, using, what's that say? Oh, using shoes. Wires on TW, Lol Axe, Kubo, and Delight something. Delightvan. Thanks for the follows, everybody. That was a good session.
Out, y'all.
Had a good time. A little bit shorter than usual, but who knows how long next one will be. Thank you so much for coming out.
That's right.
And we'll see you next week.